Something that's really fun to do in Madden NFL 2002, start a franchise with the Houston Texans. That's what I'm going to be doing in this video. Warning, this might not be the most realistic rebuild that I typically do. The plan is to try and get the Texans to a Super Bowl in the quickest amount of time. To set things up, we must pick a team, in this case the Tennessee Titans, simulate the season, create a coach, we got our Dom, now we must assign the Houston Texans to him. I'll be using my own scheme based on how I want to run the team, and if you know me, I like to win in the trenches, which means I want to run the ball and control the clock. Now with all that done, let's go to the expansion draft. Here is where we'll be getting the basics of our roster. They're mostly all the lowest rated players from the other 31 teams in the NFL. I won't bore you with the selections. Most of the players I select here won't make it to the main roster before the season or will be replaced by the newly drafted players or free agents. Speaking of free agents, there were a few big names that I could have signed. Obviously, I didn't. It didn't make any sense for a team who has so many holes to fill to try and fill them all in one off season. Instead, I decided to go for cheap or younger players that could be key contributors in the future. Bringing us to the draft. With this being our inaugural season, we get the first overall selection, and I was torn between two players, a defensive end or a quarterback. We could draft a franchise quarterback, but we have zero to no talent to help him out. It would be a repeat of David Carr, or we can build an elite defense, go the route of the Baltimore Ravens. I went defense. Then in the second round, I could go for the best center in the draft or continue to build defense like I said I would. I did not listen to my own advice, I drafted the center. Let's be clear, I said I like winning in the trenches. That's basically what my draft was. 4 of our 5 offensive line positions will be held by rookies. Real quick, Mike McMahon is our quarterback, Bryson the running back, our number 1 receiver is Patrick Johnson, our entire offensive line is pretty much rookies, defensive ends is our strength, defensive tackle, not so much, we basically have 1 decent linebacker, Terrell Buckley being our only good corner, and our safeties aren't too bad. I did sign some players to beef up the team, a second running back, a cheap fullback, an undrafted rookie receiver, a cheap defensive tackle, and an expensive defensive tackle, a cheap cornerback, and an expensive cornerback. Let's simulate the season, and we finished our first year 4-12, surprising upsets against the Eagles and the Colts. We also beat the Cowboys. Mike McMahon was kinda good. The running game wasn't that bad. Johnson and the undrafted rookie Richardson were good receivers. We were 24th in sacks allowed, but they were rookies. Our 3rd round pick, Bill Peterson, earned a Pro Bowl. Nobody had more than 10 sacks. Dishman, the first overall pick, was second on the team with 5, but the secondary was popping off, 19 interceptions by 3 players. Should we have drafted Jeff Perry instead of Dishman? Time will tell if we made the right choice. Going into the second season, there were no retirements. We did re-sign 1 player, right tackle David Walden. Noticeable players not brought back, Doug Bryan the kicker, Denard Walker the expensive cornerback from last year, and Daryl Gardner the expensive defensive tackle from last year. Moving on to free agency, plenty of big names, but this team isn't in position yet to make a playoff push. Though, Kerry Collins did catch my eye. I did give him a 2-year deal. If he works out, we can re-sign him. If he doesn't, then we can go younger. Besides him, Brian Westbrook was the big name signed, cheaper than bringing back Walker, and he's an upgrade. Everyone else that signed are younger players looking to prove themselves. This season, we didn't have the number 1 pick, that went to the Bears, but we did have the number 2 selection. I really wanted to go defensive end again, continue to build on the defense. Then I thought we could get a playmaker for Collins to work with this season. Then I thought if Collins is a bridge quarterback, we can use that time to solidify the offensive line. I selected a left tackle. Then in the second round, the best player was still available in the draft. We don't have a tight end, it just made sense to select them. The next 2 selections were a wide receiver and a running back, backup players at center and guard, while also selecting one of the best remaining kickers with a 7th round pick. Going into the season, Kerry Collins will be the quarterback, Miller, the rookie, will be the starter at running back, our receivers will be Johnson & Johnson with a little help from Jeffries. The entire offensive line has beefed up a bit since last year, little with little improvement. Andre Dishman becoming our franchise player, still need some help on the interior, but they're okay. Same with the linebackers, okay, but better than the year before. Cornerback slumped a bit thanks to Buckley's regression. Stoutmire hardly improved, but Peterson did. Kicker is upgraded. underrated punter is improving. Let's simulate the season. We had an improvement 6-9-1 with an upset win over the Patriots and a sweep against the Titans. Unfortunately, Dom Capers decided to resign as the head coach. No problem, we will just create a new Dom Capers. We'll give him the same scheme and it's like he never even left. I thought McMahon was okay, but Kerry Collins just showed how much better he can be. The running game had a strong season, even injured. The rookie Millard had over 1,100 yards. Team was third in rushing. The receiving game was more spread out amongst the players. The offensive line was impressive this season. Number 1 in sacks allowed. 8 of those sacks came from the rookie. Should be better next year. Free agent pickups. TJ Slaughter and Katzamoyer were leading the team in sacks. First 10 sack season by a player. Dishman in third with 6. We did have less interceptions this season. The kicker was also better in the second straight Pro Bowl for the punter. After looking at the stats, it's time to give the passing game a chance. We'll be less run heavy with a new playbook, Dom Capers' book. Can Dom Capers do what Dom Capers couldn't? He'll be looking to replace one starter who retired this season and his backup Slade at outside linebacker and Boyer. There was only one re-signing this offseason, Mike McMahon. He'll be brought back to be a long-term backup behind Collins. Everyone else was let go. They weren't that good. In free agency, there were a few big names that could have been added, but we're still not in playoff push territory. We're close, but not quite yet. Didn't sign any of them. Instead, another year signing cheap younger players. This season, we are selecting 9th in the draft. We could have selected a 24-year-old cornerback who could solidify the secondary. We also could have selected a 21-year-old wide receiver to provide a playmaker for the veteran Collins, who will be in the final year of his contract. We need to see if he's the future, plus we need a playmaker on the offense. The draft class was one of the weaker ones at first glance, but don't be surprised if there's more than one starter going into the year. It'll be a contract year for Collins. Behind him is Jones looking to take over. Odds are if Collins can't provide a good season, he won't be returning. Last year, Millard had a good season but finished it injured. Can he stay healthy this year? Wright is the first round playmaker we drafted. He'll be the true number 1. After that, it's Johnson & Johnson, with Jeffries being a nice complementary option. The offensive line is ahead of schedule. Only issue is at right tackle. Bryan has not improved enough the past 2 seasons. The 3rd round rookie Strode will take over for him. Leonard Little has little improvement, but our first elite player is Dishman. The interior defensive line is also not that great. All the linebackers are young and looking to prove themselves. Besides TJ Slaughter, who earned a Pro Bowl season last year, weakest position is the cornerback. Other than Westbrook, they're not great. William Peterson will be starting opposite of him. Stoutmeyer hasn't improved much in his 2 years at starter. On a contract year, our 5th round pick Whitehead will be starting this season. Our 2nd elite player Peterson at strong safety, same draft class as Dishman. The kicker and punter have also improved for another season. Let's start the year. We finished with our first non-losing record. We're now in playoff push territory. Maybe. Because our only win last season against a winning record was Jacksonville. Even though we were running less, we still finished 31st in passing yards, but Collins looked good while doing it. We need to pass even more, and for the 2nd straight season, Millard couldn't finish the season healthy. Bryson proved he can carry the load if he has to. The 1st round rookie Wayne Wright was close to a 1,000-yard season, 8 touchdowns. I think we found our playmaker. The offensive line finished 13th in sacks allowed. Should I rethink going more pass happy? There were no real playmakers this season on defense, but the line was getting to the quarterback. Smith, Dishman, and Little all combined for 15 sacks. Westbrook led with 4 interceptions, while the kicker improved from 71 to 78%. No Pro Bowl for the punter though. The owner is now expecting a playoff push next season, and I agree, it's time. I'm also going to change the scheme. We now have enough good players on the team that we can run a more balanced offense and defense. No retirement this season, but a big name needing to be re-signed. Chris Alexander will be returning on a 3-year deal worth double his original contract. Lots of noticeable names not coming back. Patrick Johnson at wideout, Omar Stoutmeyer at free safety, Troy Hambrick at fullback, Larry Atkins at strong safety, Skip Hicks isn't going to be brought back, Sean Bryson, who had 1,200 yards rushing, is too expensive for me. He's not returning, while Kerry Collins wanted $6 million, and I extended him for 2 more years. The rest who were let go were backups that were not very good. There's a lot of big names in free agency this year. We're in playoff push mode, and that means I made offers to Brian Dawkins at free safety and John Jones at cornerback to help beef up the secondary. We were able to sign them along with John Ritchie, Chris Chambers, and Chad Johnson. This year in the draft, we were selecting 19th overall. We're way the heck down there, but somehow the number 1 player in the draft, Max Poole, was available. We do need an inside linebacker, but we could use a defensive end to replace Leonard Little on the defensive line. I went with the best player available, Max Poole. Everyone else was depth. Not a great draft this season. Kerry Collins will continue to be the starter this year, but if it goes south quick, there could be some good quarterbacks in the draft next season. We are all in on Millard at running back this season. I did re-sign Hicks in free agency after nobody picked him up. John Ritchie at fullback. Wright is the number 1 receiver on the team. My favorite receiver growing up was Chris Chambers, which is why I signed him. Then I got Johnson just to team him up with Who's Your Mama. Jeffries is now lead on the offense. The offensive line is filled with studs at every position except at right tackle, where Strode will continue to start. Defensive line is struggling to get good. Besides Dishman, they haven't really improved much. The linebackers position has gotten much better thanks to the addition of Max Poole. Cornerback is another position that's gotten better thanks to the signing of John Jones. Brian Dawkins should be limiting big plays and forcing turnovers, while Peterson should be tearing it up with them. The kicker and punter have improved again. Let the season begin. We started the year 3-1, then everything fell apart and we finished 5-11. There better be some good quarterbacks in the draft. 533 is the record for most points allowed. We had 522. Did the scheme really screw us up that much? We were last in takeaways. Kerry Collins has proven to us that he's not the future, but he's a stopgap, and that gap is beginning to close. Next year will be his final year with the team. I didn't have high hopes for Millard staying healthy, but he proved he can be the lead rusher. 5.4 yards a carry and 11 touchdowns. That kid is good. It also looks like we found another stud with Wayne Wright at wide receiver. We just need a quarterback to complete the trifecta. The offensive line is now becoming questionable in pass protection. They were 28th in sacks allowed. On defense, Max Poole led the team and gave us a 10-sack season. Dishman reached a season high with 7. Slaughter putting up another good performance. It's so shocking to see the lack of turnovers this season. They had so many in their first year. This will be the 5th season of the franchise. No retirements, but a lot of big names to resign. Jeffries was the first elite player brought back. Kendrick Tubbs was the next. TJ Slaughter, not elite but good, is coming back. Lastly, Bill Peterson will be brought back on a 2-year deal. We spent $12 million on those players, and there was still a lot more that could have been brought back. I wanted to save the cap. Most were backup players anyways, besides Little, Westbrook, and Smith. Last year was our playoff push, but it looks like we're in a weird place where we're not as good as the paper shows. We need big names like Amon Green and Jason Taylor. Problem is, we're not going to have a young quarterback this year, and I don't trust Collins. It'll be a wasted season to sign these players. Instead, I signed players to help beef up the defense, keep the stress off the offense until we can find the guy who can lead the team. Rudd at left outside linebacker and Lang for cornerback. We did have the 4th selection in the draft, and there were no good quarterbacks at all. So once again, I had a choice to beef up the defense with either a defensive end to replace Little or a defensive tackle to replace Smith. I went defensive end, and luckily for us, defensive tackle was available in the 2nd. Overall, I think this draft was one of the better ones that I've had compared to the past few. With a lack of starter quality quarterbacks in the draft and the regression of Collins, that means Jones will take over the season with the hopes that he can develop into a potential starter. Millard will continue to be the starter. He finished a full season for the first time last year. Let's make it 2 for 2. Wright had a phenomenal season last year. He's the true number 1 on this team. Jeffries is the next best option in the passing game. The biggest strength is the offensive line, but it hasn't translated to a dominant running game or passing game. I have hope for the defensive line to become dominant. Dishman joins the 99 club. Cornerback has also been improved, or at the very minimum as good as the previous year. Dawkins is in regression. We have him for 2 more seasons, while Peterson is the best player we have in the secondary. secondary let the season begin. At one point, we were 4-5 and then completely fell apart again. Dom Capers 2 is now gone because of it. Don't worry, Dom Capers 3 will take over. Marcus Jones almost gave us a 30 for 30, but he had almost over 4,000 yards passing. If he can clean up the turnovers, he might be good. Another season where Millard was injured. This time he was injured in the first game and the rookie Patterson took over. Third straight season with a different 1,000-yard rusher. There's no doubt in my mind that Wright is the future of this offense. Unlike Millard, he can stay healthy, and if we open up the playbook more, we can be a high-powered offense. I don't know if the offensive line is good anymore, but I'm paying them a lot of money. You'd think that would mean they're doing good. TJ Slaughter continues to prove his worth. Max Poole was injured, which is why he's not on the top tackling list here. Dishman continues his 5+ sack season, while Peterson has returned to form with his 5 interceptions. I want to keep the same scheme for now on offense, but on defense I'm going to be more conservative. We had our best success on defense when we weren't super aggressive. There is going to be one player retiring, long-time running back for the team, Skip Hicks. There were also a lot of players that needed to be brought back this season. Millard was not one of them. He can't finish the season healthy. Time to move on. Scott Short wasn't a holdout, but we paid the man. Richard Ballard was brought back at left guard. John Strode was brought back at right tackle. Andre Dishman is in the 99s club. He's coming back at defensive end. I also decided to bring back William Peterson at cornerback. Players not coming back are Kerry Collins, Edgar Johnson at wide receiver, McMillan, the punter, Dan Bryan at right tackle isn't returning, Brian Allen at left outside linebacker, along with Eric Westmoreland. This season feels like we're back to rebuilding. I decided not to go for any big names in free agency, instead opting to sign depth at middle linebacker in case Max Poole gets injured again. We have the 8th pick in the draft this year, and the best player in the draft is a quarterback. Ed Falk is the #1 player in this draft class, and he's available when we make our selection. It's an easy decision. We're picking him. The rest of the selections were depth selections, especially the receivers, considering everyone at the position is in a contract year. Ed Falk will be the starting quarterback this season. We have a good quarterback room if injuries occur, but the future is this rookie. Running back is now our weakest position, but Patterson had over 1,000 yards last season. Who's to say he can't do it again? Wright is clearly on his way to becoming one of the best receivers in the league. I give it a year or two before he's elite. Jeffries is in the 99 club. The offensive line is all in the 90s except that right tackle, and even then they're pretty good. The defensive line has the potential to grow with the drafted players we selected. The future on defense is looking good. Linebackers are in a weird spot. Poole is elite, but the outside linebackers are getting older. They'll need to be replaced soon. Cornerback has been the hardest position so far to improve, but we're slowly building them up. Dawkins is regressing harder. Whitehead will be starting over him this season, while Peterson is our 3rd player in the 99 club. Before we start the season with a rookie quarterback, I decided to go more pass heavy this season with the hopes for a quicker development. Let's simulate the season. For the first time in the rebuild, we had an injury stop simulation. It was at fullback. Welcome back, Troy Hambrick. For the second time in this series, we had a non-losing season. We're back in the playoff push territory, baby. It looks like Ed Falk is the future of this offense. Not nearly as many yards as Jones had last season, but he's much more careful with the ball. He also earned the Offensive Rookie of the Year. If there's an elite running back available next season, I think we need to take them because I think the offensive line is making our backs look better than they should be. Wright had his 3rd straight 1,000-yard receiving season. He barely got it this year, but I wonder if that's because we're West Coast now. I don't understand why Chris Alexander was so bad this year. TJ Slaughter has constantly been one of our best players on this defense. Max Poole finished the season healthy and had a good year. Wait a minute, was Whitehead good this entire time and we sat him behind an aging veteran? We're now going on to year 7 of the rebuild. No retirements this season. There were big names that we had to resign. Wayne Wright was one of them, the #1 receiver on the team. Max Poole, who's now in the 99 club, only accepting 2-year contracts. Bill Peterson as well. He's been in the 99 club for a while and only wants another 2-year deal. He's 28. We might have to move on from him soon. We had a lot of players that we're going to be moving on from. A few big names there. Dwayne Rudd won't be back. He was a starter at left outside linebacker but has begun to regress. Weapon X won't be back. He was one of the worst free agent signings. Jesse Griffin was a backup center. He's not returning. Marcus Jones had his 30 for 30 moment. He's not coming back. Hugh Turk isn't going to be Peterson's replacement. Considering they're the same age, he's not coming back. We're in playoff push territory, which means we have to make a splash. I went ahead and signed 3 starters to the team. Travis Taylor at wide receiver gives our young guy Falk another toy to play with. We signed Keith Bullock to a 1-year deal to be a stopgap player at left outside linebacker. The last player was Antonio Minter. He's the size of a mint, but he should help the running game. This year we were selecting 18th. That's the second lowest selection ever. We could have drafted a left outside linebacker to eventually take over Bullock's spot, but he leaves next year. Instead, I opted to give Falk another toy. I only signed Taylor to 2 years. He can take over the number 2 spot after. The draft class wasn't that good. After the first 3 rounds, I felt like I couldn't find anyone that was a need, mostly extra depth. I did sign some players after the draft. Charles Bell to be depth at right outside linebacker, Jerry Gordon for left outside linebacker, Rodney Baileyfield at defensive end, the big name Gerard Warren at defensive tackle. Going to the sophomore year for Ed Falk, and it's looking like he's the future of this team. Halfback is still a problem, but it's gotten slightly better. Hopefully it doesn't matter, as we're pretty much going to be pass heavy with all these weapons we have at wideout and Jeffries at tight end. I don't know if the offensive line being all elite will make a difference, but it won't stop me from trying to get them there. The defensive line continues to improve, especially with the signing of Warren. I don't see how we're not terrorizing teams this season. The linebackers may be the biggest question marks, but mainly due to the fact that we have no one to replace them. Same at cornerback, they're getting older and will be declining soon. I'm going to give Whitehead the starting job this year since he did so well last season, while Peterson is still in the 99 club. But for how long? Let the season begin and we're injured. Of course, during the playoff push year, we lose both our quarterbacks for a portion of the season after signing a 4th quarterback simulated the rest of the season. Can you tell when Ed Falk returned to the game? It's subtle, but it's after they lost 5 straight games and won 7 straight. They earned their first winning season, and to make matters worse, the Titans beating them in the second half stopped them from going into the playoffs for the first time in this series. Can we take a quick minute to ignore 28-3 and acknowledge that he did all of that on basically half a season? There's some high expectations going into next year. Who needs to run? Not us, not anymore. I am surprised that the fullback has been getting more carries the past few seasons. Another 1,000-yard season for Wright, and had some solid numbers from Taylor and Moore. Had Falk not been injured, I could see them both getting 1,000 yards. Is the offensive line even good? All our quarterbacks were injured. We had 2 separate wide receivers making throws in games. Come on, man. It took 7 seasons, but the cleaner is born. Andre Dishman had an 18-sack performance. The entire defense looked strong, but this is what I expected out of a 99 overall defensive end, while Peterson is looking good. Hopefully it's not because he spells his name like that. Another season with no retirement. We have an issue. Max Poole wants a new contract. This year we have a lot of big names that need to be re-signed. Jeffries is going to be back on a 3-year deal. Our left guard Ballard is going to be back, 3-year deal. Our 99 overall center is coming back, 3-year deal. But regression is coming. Same for right guard, 98 overall but 30. Regression is coming for Tubbs, 3-year deal. Last player on the line was John Strode, the youngest starter, only wanted a 2-year deal. Holdout, Max Poole is only 27 years old, but he wanted these short contracts. I might have to make our first trade soon. Big names that aren't coming back: Dwight Cohen, backup center, won't be returning. John Jones, 30, regression won't be nice. Same for Antonio Lang, 29, has 2 good years left, but he's not returning like Jones. Keith Bullock was a stopgap player, he's not returning. Slaughter should be in the Ring of Honor, he was great, but regression is coming, he's not returning. Final player was Gerard Warren. I think we'll be fine without him. Could use that cash for free agency. There are the rest of the players not returning. We're hoping for a playoff push. Sadly, every position that I looked into had aging players that would be a burden on this team, like Dawkins was when we signed him. I skipped free agency. This year's draft, we selected 19th, the lowest in the series. We were left with a few options. A defensive tackle, he could be elite in no time. A running back, he could probably be our best back in the series, or draft the best available left outside linebacker to replace Bullock. I went defensive tackle. It was a strange draft. I went middle linebacker in the 2nd. I also picked up a really good quarterback in the 4th and a really good receiver in the 6th. It was a weird draft. Before we look at the roster, I did sign 2 other linebackers, one at right outside linebackers to fill the minimum requirement and another at middle. Ed Falk cemented himself as the future of this franchise. Makes me wonder if going quarterback the first year would have been the right choice. Running back has been a weakness on this team since the series started. Next year will be a priority. Wright has become elite, but now Taylor has regressed, which means Moore will be taking over his spot on the roster. Jeffries is still a 99 overall. The offensive line is all near the age of 30. We'll see how we can fix that in the upcoming off seasons. Defensive line is as good as it's ever been. It's going to be time soon to move on from Dishman as well, but let's get him a ring first. I'm experimenting at linebacker this year. We'll be using our middle linebackers on the outside positions, which is why I have so many. Cornerback is the worst position on the team. I wouldn't be surprised if we're obliterated in the air. It won't help that Thomas is starting. Yes, Thomas is starting over Whitehead, while Peterson is still in the 99 club, but for how long? Let's start the season. We finished with our 2nd straight winning record and a playoff berth, baby! For the first time in this series, thanks to a sweep against the Colts, we had the 5th best offense, 3rd best passing game. Falk threw for over 4,000 yards, but his touchdown interception ratio wasn't as good as last year. The running game continues to struggle. First time in team history that we had 2 1,000-yard receivers. We knew that Wright was good, but Moore is looking better. The offensive line is blocking now, but again, we might not have them all in 3 years. We had 3 players with 9 sacks. Dishman was one of them. Mays, playing at outside linebacker this year, looked good, while the rookie Brandt popped off. Mays also led the team with the interceptions with Peterson. Defense was number 1 in the league, while the kicker for the first time looked good in the series. They're looking legit for the playoffs, which will be in the wild card against the Buffalo Bills. It took 8 seasons, but for the first time in franchise history, the Houston Texans are in the playoffs with an opportunity to show that they're no longer that new kid on the block. Most of their success the past 3 seasons can be thanked to Ed Falk. Can he secure them their first playoff win? We'll start in the middle of the first. Buffalo's ball. Game is scoreless. Cox takes the snap, moves to his right, plenty of time, going deep, way back there, and it's caught by Anderson. The following play at the 21, they hand it off to Henry. Takes it right side, has an opening, and doesn't get touched until after the first down. It's now 3rd and goal inside the 10. Cox under center, drops back, clean pocket, throws on the no, he faked it over the middle, and it's dropped by Battle. He had the defender beat. That's going to bring out the kicking unit to give the Bills their first points in the game. 25-yard kick to give them an early 3-0 lead. Houston's chance to answer back. 3rd and 7. Falk in the shotgun, takes the snap, stands in the pocket, down the middle, deep, and caught by Taylor across midfield for the first. We're now in the 2nd quarter, in the shotgun again. Falk handles the ball, moves to his right, pumps, throws back to his left, deep, and caught by Wright to get into the red zone. A few plays later, 3rd down. Buffalo times the snap perfectly. Nobody blocks the defender as he sacks Falk easily. Now lead to a field goal by Houston, 28 yards to tie the game up at 3. Fast forward to the final minute of the half. Houston's ball, 3rd down. Falk in the shotgun, stands in the pocket, down the middle, and he falked up. Cato with the interception. He looks a lot different than when I saw him in the Green Hornet. Breaks a tackle and gets near the 20. At the 21, 52 seconds left in the half. Cox drops back. Defense getting pressure, throws down the sideline, and it's caught down near the 1. Now 2nd and goal. They hand it off to Henry, and he walks in for the first touchdown in the game, giving Buffalo the lead again. 10-3. It's now the start of the 3rd quarter. Remember when I told you I was worried about the secondary? They go deep again with ease. A play later, Cox is in the pocket, plenty of time, no pressure whatsoever, finds an open receiver for the first. Same drive, 3rd down now. They play action it, Cox underneath, down the middle for the first. A play later, Cox drops back and no pressure at all, finds his receiver again to get inside the 5. It's 2nd and goal. All day the secondary has been picked on to the end zone, but this time they have it covered. They wouldn't be able to get into the end zone, forcing another field goal, this time 23 yards to make it 13-3. There's still half a quarter to work with. Falk under center, drops back, throws quickly, has the rookie Teague, and he fumbles it, recovered by Buffalo. All the Bills need to do is run the clock out. Hand off to Henry. He's rumbling and bumbling and gets the first. The drive would stall out with over a minute left. A 47-yard attempt, longest in the game so far. He He makes it look easy, and they're now up 16-3. There's still a minute left. Falk drops back, sits in the pocket, plenty of time, and finds Minter for the first. A play later, 50 seconds left in the game. Falk drops back in the pocket down the middle and caught by Wright on a diving play, but it won't count because of an offensive penalty. The Texans would eventually lose their first playoff appearance, 16-3 to the Buffalo Bills. No need to hang your head low. First playoff appearance in history. Even with a loss, they made history. The hard part of putting a team good enough to make the playoffs is done. Next step is to make it back, and nobody retired this season. That's a good start. What's not good? Next year our franchise quarterback will need a new contract. There weren't a lot of players I resigned, but I did resign our fullback Ty Howard. The best cornerback on the roster, Kirk Bishop, was brought back. I brought back our 99 overall kicker. I also brought back Bill Peterson, who's regressing on a one-year deal. Another player brought back was Ken Mays, who had a phenomenal season last year. The last player brought back, William Peterson, on not a $7 million year contract. Big names not brought back: Whitehead, who had that one good year, and Taylor, who is regressing hard. The rest were backups. Moving on to free agency, and I wanted to make a splash. I offered the best running back, Craig, a 2-year deal. He's on the verge of regression, but he's got a year or two left of elite play. I also went to buff up our secondary, giving a 1-year contract, a rental so to speak, on Leon Pham. They both agreed to their contracts. I'm hoping this is enough to push us into a playoff threat. We have the lowest pick in the series at 22, which means we're probably not going to get an elite player at this spot. I drafted a free safety with it. Overall, this draft was meh. Other than a pair of linemen, most of the players won't see the field. We have our first ever 90s quarterback. Ed Falk is no longer the future, he's the present. He's going to want a lot of money next year. Craig will also be our best running back we've had, 90 overall. I don't think this team has ever had this much talent. There was a reason I was comfortable letting Taylor go. Moore and Sims have improved a lot, and with Wright in elite territory and Jeffrey still 99 overall, offense should thrive. We're getting to the point where the offensive line is mostly in their 30s or getting close. Eventually we need to replace them all. The window is beginning to close. The defensive line has been the best it's ever been. We need to get Dishman a ring. He was our first ever pick and our first ever 99 member. We don't have a left outside linebacker, but we're doing what we did last year. Again, we'll be moving our interior linebackers to the outside. Corners should be better this season. Last year in the playoffs, it bit us hard not to have a good corner. This year, we got you, fam. Free safety is the weakest position on the team, and I'm opting to start the rookie Sapp over Thomas. Peterson is regressing. He's probably not returning next year. Let's make the season count. Let's simulate the season, and we finish with our best record ever, 12-4. Still not the best in the AFC, but we did win the division and earn a bye week. Falk with a similar season to last year. I guess that 28-3 year was an anomaly. Craig had over 1,000 yards. The fullback Howard getting a lot of use. Wright continues his phenomenal career here in Houston, earned best wide receiver in the AFC, Moore right behind him. Is the offensive line good again? I can never tell. Boy, did we make the right choice in re-signing Mays. 16 sacks, no biggie, won AFC Defensive Player of the Year. Pham also proved he has plenty left in the tank. Everything looks good as we're back in the playoffs for the second straight year. This time we won't be a wild card exit since we earned a bye week, but our first opponent will be the New England Patriots in the divisional round. We won't be perfectly healthy, but it's not terrible. The paper says the Texans win. Let's find out if the numbers don't lie. It's Falk's 4th year in the league and his 2nd playoff appearance. Hasn't had a losing season and finished the year 12-4. If he wants the league to take him seriously, he'll need a deep playoff run here. Very first play of the game, Falk rolls to his left and he Falks up. Patriots wouldn't get into the end zone, but they would end their first drive with a field goal. Houston's next drive, keep the ball out of Falk. Craig, with the carry, sweep, left side, gets the first. Same drive, 3rd and long, in the shotgun, Falk rolls to his right, throws back across his body to Moore, has space, gets across the markers. One of the biggest signings this offseason was Craig. He takes another handoff and shows why he earns that money, another first down. Now in the second quarter, same drive, score still 3-0. Falk finds Sims to get near the first. Second down, 2 to go. Falk drops back, plenty of time, moves, throws off balance to the end zone. Caught on balance, off balance, doesn't matter to Falk, he's still better than you and gets it to please sir, can I have some more? Fast forward to the third quarter, Houston's ball up 7-3. Falk finds right for the first. The following play, they hand it back to Craig, who's had a great day so far, gets another first on the ground. Near midfield on the logo, Falk drops back and finds right again to get near the first. Second and 2, they go back to Craig, left side, easily gets a new set of downs. Houston is eating a lot of clock. Falk on a rope, right, makes the catch, gets them near the 10. Drive would stall out, forcing them to kick a field goal to make it a 1-touchdown game. It's now the final 2 minutes. Patriots have a chance to tie it up on this drive. Frazier to Props for the first. It's now 4th down, same drive to keep it alive. Frazier to Nicholas in tight coverage to keep it going. After a spike, Frazier to the flat, has Props, gets tackled short of the first on 3rd and 2, drops back on the logo. Props makes the catch. They're moving it now, 50 seconds left. He finds the tight end again, who sneaks into the red zone after a spike. 35 seconds left. High snap, moves to his right, throws incomplete. It's now 3rd down. Low snap this time. Pumps and knocked away. The game comes down to this play. Frazier throws completely off the mark, incomplete. The Texans have won their first ever playoff game and will be 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Will this series come to an end in season 9? They'll be taking on the best team in the AFC, the Cleveland Browns. They rebuilt better than we did, but the numbers don't lie here and they spell disaster for you, Cleveland. Who would have thought that in the year 2011, the Cleveland Browns would be hosting an AFC championship game against the Houston Texans and would be the top 2 teams in the NFL? Let's find out which one moves on to the Super Bowl. First play of the game, Texans bring the blitz, Couch on the move, perfect throw to Anderson in stride for the first. A few plays later, they bring another blitz, Couch gets rid of it, Smith with a catch, the defender misses the tackle and there was a bunch of space for him to get down to the 26. The drive did stall out there, forcing the Browns to kick a field goal. They'll be up 3-0. Now in the second, Browns ball, Couch going deep. Houston got burned last year because of their secondary, and it happens again here. A few plays later, same drive, 3rd down, Couch finds Carson for the first. Another 3rd down on the drive. Couch pumps, throws, he gets past the defender. It's a race down the sideline and brought down at the 4. There's just over a minute and a half. Running back hits a wall, but cuts it the other way for the first touchdown in the game. They're now up 10-0. Still time in the half for the Texans to make something happen. Falk down the middle and caught for a big play. A play later, 2nd down, Falk in the pocket, down deep and caught for another play. The drive would stall there before the half ends. Texans would make it a touchdown game again. Skip to the 3rd quarter, 10-3, Houston's ball. Falk throws, caught by Wright to get down to the 30. The following play, Falk will have all the time in the pocket to find Wright for a short gain. A few plays later, inside the red zone, Craig breaks a tackle, has the angle, the first, the touchdown. That'll tie the game up. In the final quarter, can Houston make the stop? Couch, with plenty of time, finds his back for a first on 2nd and long. Same drive, 3rd and 10, no pressure, plenty of time. Couch down the middle and the receiver makes the play. The drive would stall there and this kick would make it a 3-point game again. Texans need a touchdown to win. Can they get it on this drive? 1st down, Falk to the flat, receiver down the sideline. Looks like he had the first, but marked short. 3rd and inches, Falk in the pocket, throws going deep, going real deep, and overthrows his receiver. It comes down to this play. Play action. Throws incomplete. Turnover on downs. They came close. but not close enough. Browns added an extra field goal at the end of the game. Houston was one drive away from making the Super Bowl. This will now be the 10th season of this rebuild. No retirements, but we do have a lot of players to sign, and we need to bring back as many from the last year as possible. Ed Falk, the franchise, will be coming back. Leroy Patterson will be returning. It would be wrong not to bring back Wayne Wright. Scott Short will be back at left tackle. John Strode at right tackle will be back. Rodney Lloyd at defensive end will be back. Andre Dishman, probably in his final contract with the team, will be back. Reginald Spikes at defensive tackle will be back. Max Poole, middle linebacker, will be back. Corey Shakur, backup middle linebacker, but played outside linebacker the past 2 seasons, will be back. Casper Abrams, backup outside linebacker, will be back. Lastly, Chris Alexander will be back at strong safety. Leon Pham will not be returning at his age. He was a 1-year rental. Antonio Minter is reaching the age of regression. Leroy will replace him. Bill Peterson, one of my first draft selections in the series, he's not coming back. Burned through a lot of cap, but we brought back as many starters as we could except for 2. Moving to free agency, I didn't want to replace Pham with someone younger. Johnny Anthony, 6 years younger. I offered him a contract. He's not as good as Pham, but potential to grow. He accepted our offer. We're going to have the 30th pick in the draft. Hard to select good players that deep, right? Looks like the best linebacker and player in the draft was available. I selected a cornerback with our first round pick. I think we had a decent draft, but we need to strengthen the corners on the team. Before looking at the roster, I let go of Bettis. I then signed depth players Dotson and Russell for outside linebacker and defensive end. One more season and I believe Ed Falk will be in the 99 club. He's the key to getting the Super Bowl ring. Craig is old and on the backside of his career. I don't expect him to be back after this season. I think we've seen the peak of Wright, but with more right behind him, I expect the passing game to continue to thrive, especially with Jeffrey still in the 99 club. The window for the Super Bowl is closing with the offensive line beginning to melt. There will come a time that we will be rebuilding again, might be sooner than you think. The defensive line is becoming a strength of this defense. Dishman has begun to regress. The team is getting older. Window is closing. Take a look at our linebackers. Max Poole's on the verge of regression. The team might be in rebuild mode come next season. The cornerbacks are already in rebuild mode. We got younger, but not better. Byron Thomas is the starter at strong safety. He's not in elite territory, while Alexander took over for Peterson, who was elite but regressing. Let's simulate the season. Again, too few fullbacks. Signed Dishman's younger brother. I don't know what happened. 7-9, we completely fell apart. I think I know what happened. Why did Falk have such a rough year? At least Craig had 1,000 yards. Wright had another 1,000 yards. Moore wasn't too far off from him. The offensive line might end up getting revamped next year. Not as many sacks as I was hoping to have this season, but Brandt has been solid. The rookie corner is looking like a good selection, while the kicker was not as good, but good enough to earn an award. What a disappointing season. There will be no retirements going into season 11, but we got big names to re-sign like Fred Moore. He's a future at the spot. Jeffries will most likely be on the final contract with the team. Tom Holmes is a future at middle linebacker. Last player returning, Kendrick Tubbs, 1-year rental. We'll look to replace him in the draft. Players not coming back? Oh, there was a lot. Rashard Ballard, regressing, under 90, not coming back. Chris Alexander, 33 years old, 93 overall, but we have his replacement not coming back. Craig, regressing, under 90 overall, not coming back. Stringer was the backup left tackle, close to 30, he's not coming back. Clay Sims, the third receiver on the team, he's going to be too expensive, not coming back. Finally, Brian Thomas, young with potential, his backup is just as good, not coming back. Seems like we're in rebuild mode now, but I figured let's have some fun this season. I offered a contract to 34-year-old wide receiver Jason Short. I have a plan, and he accepted the offer. We have the 13th pick this year, and the draft is stacked. The question will be if any of these players will make it that far. The best player available did, but we already drafted a corner last year, and we've struggled to find a running back in this series. I opted to go running back. The rest of the draft was not as good, but our second and third round picks were to rebuild the line at tackle and guard. I also signed an outside linebacker, depth, That's all. He's finally in the 99 club, and Ed Falk will most likely stay in that club for the next 3 to 4 years. The rookie will be the clear starter at running back. We have 3 solid receivers and a tight end with Jeffries. I'm going to be changing the scheme to be more pass heavy. Let's just have a fun season this year. The offensive line is in semi-rebuild mode. 2 starters are gone and 2 others are on the way out. Might as well develop the younger players so we can have a run in a year or 2. The defensive line is still strong, but Dishman had a steep decline that I wasn't expecting, but he can still be impactful. The linebackers are still going to be all middle linebackers. We have the players. It's hard to find outside linebackers. The secondary is still weak. We're going to focus more on stopping the pass. Should have selected that corner in the draft. At free safety, Sapp will be taking over. He's not fast, but he's young. Strong safety is the same. Young, but slow. I need to speed up the secondary if we ever get back into the playoffs. Let's simulate the season. What happened? How did we get so good? This means technically this rebuild is over. We weren't first in the NFL, but we were close. The offense was dominant, number 1 in almost everything. The defense was good. Ed Falk. I didn't even know you can have numbers like this. He's playing like Dan Marino. He even won the MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. Why even try to run the ball? 2 1,000-yard receivers, right 1 best wide receiver. Our veteran receiver we signed was injured for the year. Could have had 3 receivers over 1,000. Offensive line was solid. I do regret not drafting that corner now. He would be paired great with Gainer. Holmes led in sacks, but he'll be out for the playoffs, and Anthony led in interceptions. Yet we still didn't earn Coach of the Year. The Houston Texans are back in the playoffs for the 3rd time in 4 years, finishing with a 12-4 record for the 2nd time in 3. Last year must have been an anomaly. We'll find out if they can make it to the AFC Championship game for the 2nd time in their franchise, taking on the Oakland Raiders. Texans with the ball to start the game. It's a pitch, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Muhammad with the carry to get to midfield. A play later, Falk throws left side, right with a catch. The drive would end there after those 2 plays, bringing out Brooks for a 49-yarder. It's up. Does he have the leg? Yes, he does. Houston with the early 3-0 lead. We now skip to the final minute of the half. Oakland's ball. Erickson drops back. Great protection. Trojans would be proud. Down the middle and caught for a big gain in the air. It's now 3rd down on the drive to extend it. Erickson in the pocket, moves around, throws back to his left, but caught short of the first. That means the Raiders bring out their kicker to tie it. Seabass with a 38-yard attempt. It's up and ties it all up at 3. We start the second half. Houston with the ball. It's a handoff. The rookie running back showing his worth, squeezing through the defense. They threw for over 5,000 yards, but they've been finding success on the ground today. Again, Muhammad with the carry for a big gain. Past midfield, tries to make a move and tackle near the 40. 2 plays later on the drive, Falk in the pocket, down the middle to Jeffries, one-handed for the first. It's now 3rd down on the drive. Falk drops back, moving around, trying to buy time, avoids a sack, and somehow gets that pass out. Incomplete, but they call pass interference on the defense. The very next play after the PI, Falk will drop back, has time, looks frantic, throws, and it's picked off. The ball don't lie. We're now on the 4th. Houston has it again. Falk with the ball, moves to his right, throws and caught for a short gain. It's now 3rd down on the drive. Falk with the drop back, throws, more, makes the catch. Remember, the game is still tied at 3. Falk going deep, and can I have some more with another big time catch? Another 3rd down on the drive in the shotgun. Falk standing like a statue, surveying the field to the end zone, and touchdown Houston. They get the first touchdown in the game. It isn't over yet. Oakland has a chance to answer back. Erickson in the pocket, throws and has Pierce wide open. He doesn't have the speed, but he does get the first. Same drive, 3rd down. Erickson in the pocket, moving around down the middle, but not enough for the first. 4th down, can you keep it going? Erickson in the pocket, plenty of time, pumps, throws, and incomplete. Now, it's not over. 3rd and 3 for Houston, and Muhammad makes it look easy. That'll end the game. The Houston Texans are back to being 1 game away from going to the Super Bowl. We'll find out if they can finally get there. The road to the Super Bowl goes through Miami, the #1 team in the AFC. Took 9 years for Houston to make it this far. They now have another chance to make it all the way 2 years later. Let's get right into the action. Falk steps up, throws deep right, makes the catch, bounces off a defender, breaks a tackle down near midfield. The following play in the pocket, Falk going deep again, right with the catch again, getting near the red zone. Play action, Falk with time, throws, and Jeffries makes the catch. Even his shadow is sexy. They're now inside the 10, Falk to the end zone, and can I have some more? This is what kind of offense we've been expecting to see from Houston. They take the lead with this touchdown, 7-0. Can Miami answer back? That's not Dan Marino, but he throws like him. First down here. A few plays later, Stanley in the pocket, pumps, throws, the blind stares, a million pairs of eyes, looking hard but won't realize it was picked off by Shakur. Brought back to the 20. First play after the interception, Falk to the right, Muhammad with a catch, has the first short of the end zone. A few plays later, Muhammad with the ball, hurdles the defender and into the end zone to make it 14-0. We now start the second quarter. Play action, Stanley throws, caught, makes a move and gets the first. A few plays later, pitched right side, Feeney gets the first down, tackled by Gaynor. Near midfield, Stanley throws quickly, caught by Brooks for a big gain. Closing into the red zone, back to Feeney, finds a hole, runs through a defender, gets near the first. Third down, 3 to go. Stanley throws, caught by Jackson, somehow avoids a tackle, down the sideline, touchdown Miami. They cut the lead to 1 touchdown. They have the ball again to start the third. Another pitch to Feeney, gets a block, tackled near the first. A few plays later, Stanley in the pocket finds Brown across midfield to get the first. Second down, same drive. Stanley has time, pumps, throws. Brown with a catch again, gets near the first. 3rd and 2 to keep the drive going. Stanley pumps, he steps up, throws on the move to the left, and it's caught one-handed down the sideline. They can tie it up here, feeling pressure to the end zone, and it's dropped by Brooks, who made that spectacular play earlier. Third down, can the defense hold? Pressured immediately to the end zone, and it's knocked away, incomplete. The Dolphins would have to settle for the field goal to make it a 14-10 game. Houston has a chance to make it a 2-score lead again. Falk going deep right with the catch, has a block and a dramatic tackle right there. It would only lead to a field goal attempt to turn it back to a 1-touchdown game. There's just under 3 minutes in the game. Stanley to his right, pumps, throws, has Brown open and gets across midfield. The next play they hand it off to Feeney, but a hold will pull this drive back. Under 2 minutes, 3rd and 18 in the pocket. Stanley down the seam to Jackson, who gets near the first. 4th down to keep the game alive. Stanley moves back into the pocket, throws. Taylor, yes, former Texan Travis Taylor, but short of the first. Looks like the Texans had an undercover agent. Muhammad with the carry up the middle, breaks the tackle and gets the first. Another first down can end the game. They go back to the ground, breaks a tackle. He has the speed past the first down. Can they chase him down? Tackled inside the red zone. All they're doing is running the clock down. Another handoff, and he might as well just walk in untouched for the score. That would be the final score in the game. Houston wins 24-10 and will be going to the Super Bowl for the first time in franchise history. 11 seasons, but we finally made it to the Super Bowl. The rebuild is over in terms of what we were trying to accomplish. But can we finish it on a high note, beating the cover athlete and his team, the Minnesota Vikings? The first play of the game, Culpepper in the pocket, great protection down the middle and caught for a big gain. Next play at midfield, Culpepper going deep, Gaffney with another catch and speed to make it 7-0. Later in the first, punter is out, and you know what that means. It's either going to be a touchdown or a fumble. In this case, a missed tackle, some finesse, and brought back to midfield. The very next play, a handoff to Bennett, right side, and look at him go. go. Gets it inside the 40, drive stalls out, forcing the kicking team out to make it a 10-0 game. Houston finds themselves in a hole, but it's not unclimbable. It's a pitch, and this rookie has been great in the playoffs. A big run there. Unfortunately for them, it would lead to just a field goal attempt. They would cut the lead back down to 7. Very first play for the Vikings offense. Culpepper going deep, and this is what I've been talking about with the secondary. How slow they are, and because of it, they're now down 17-3. Half isn't over yet. Vikings have the ball, 30 seconds to the flat. Bennett, wide open, has the first, breaks the tackle and pushed out. You know, I haven't said his name yet, but Randy Moss is still there. Gets them into field goal range. To make it 20-3 before half, the kick is up. Has the leg? No, he doesn't. Falls short. A touchdown to start the half could make this a game again. Falk finds Jeffries over the middle, one-handed to get the first. He's not easy to bring down. Second down, same drive, throws Jeffries again for the first. Following play, they go to the ground. The young kid has the speed, goes outside, past the first. Can he outrun the defender? No, he can't. He did get them inside the 10. Falk in the pocket to the end zone. Can I have some more with that catch? We're now in the fourth quarter. Houston's ball, 2nd and 12, and this throw to get near the first. They're still down by a touchdown, but if they can get into the end zone on this drive, they can force overtime. 3rd and 9. Falk in the pocket, feeling pressure, caught by the receiver, but short of the first. 4th down for the game. Falk throws to the sideline. More, not even close. The game isn't entirely over. A stop will get them one last chance with less than a minute. 3rd down. Falk going deep, and it's dropped by Wright. Today he was wrong. 4th down, final chance. Falk throws more down the sideline, gets tackled at the sticks, but they say he was short. After having a record-breaking season, Ed Falk came up very lackluster in the biggest game of them all. Well, you know what they say, there's always next year. 11 seasons, 3 head coaches, 3 playoff appearances in 4 years, and 1 Super Bowl loss. We can't end it like that. Jason Short is going to retire though, injured his final year. At least it ended in the Super Bowl. A few re-signings like Ty Howard the fullback, Johnny Berry the starting young center will be back, Corey Shakur, this might be his final contract with the team, he's 28. Few players not returning, Kirk Bishop at cornerback, he's 30, not coming back. Ken Mays, I have a soft spot for him, but regression has hit him hard, not coming back. Richmond Brooks, the kicker, 32. I can find cheaper, he's not coming back. The biggest name, Kendrick Tubbs, deserves to be in our Ring of Honor, not coming back. I wasn't expecting a Super Bowl appearance last year. That being said, we need to bolster the line, and Wally Fisk was the guy we needed. Young and elite, I gave him an offer and he accepted. Since we do have the 31st pick in the draft, I was not expecting this weak-looking draft class to be nice to us. Turns out the best player available was there at 31. I really wanted to upgrade our safeties since they were toast in the Super Bowl, but we've struggled finding outside linebackers for years. I drafted Edwards. It was the right choice as the free safety Dixon was available in the 2nd, then in the 3rd, a right guard, a position we needed to address, was available. I think we had a solid first half of the draft, though our kicker will be questionable. Ed Falk is still in the 99 club. Double J will soon be the best running back we've had since Craig. Wright is regressing, but Moore is picking up the slack with Jeffries, still 99. The offensive line is interesting, old on the exterior, but the interior is young and potential to grow. The defensive line is mixed, mostly elite with the exception of Dishman, who regressed hard. The linebackers without Mays means Shakur will be outside along with the rookie. Gainer is looking like he was a great selection going into his 3rd season, while at free safety Dixon will be the starter. Sapp is on his final year. Alexander is elite, but his speed leaves a lot to be desired. Let's simulate the season. We've now won the division 4 times in the past 5 years. This time the Super Bowl runs through Houston in the AFC, and we were the best team in the NFL. Once again, the offense was almost first in everything. Defense is making this team look like the Drew Brees led Saints. In the past 2 seasons, Ed Falk has thrown for over 10,000 yards and 101 touchdowns. He won the MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and Best Quarterback. Double J may have little action, but he's efficient. Wright is no longer the player he was, but he's still very good. Moore picking up the slack. He won Best Wide Receiver. The offensive line had some struggles, to be expected. No player had over 100 tackles, but Poole led anyways. He tied with Brand with 9 sacks on the team, while Johnny Anthony looks to have been a great signing a few years ago. Side note, that rookie, not terrible, not great. By the way, we finally won Coach of the Year. Wait, hold up. Will the real Dom Capers please stand up? Oh, it'd be poetic if we played them in the Super Bowl. No wild card for Houston for the second straight year in the divisional, playing against the team they beat to get into the Super Bowl last year, the Miami Dolphins. We start the game, Dolphins ball. Nope, that's not Dan the Man, that's Stanley the Manly, going deep and caught for a big play. A few plays later, Stanley in the pocket, going deep, caught, breaks the tackle, clinks off a defender and into the end zone. Get the butter, cause this secondary is toast. Miami with the early 7-0 lead. Houston trying to answer back, first down in the air. Next play, they hand it off to Double J, who makes his way up the middle, breaks the tackle and gains a first. Near the logo at midfield, Falk with plenty of time, going deep, caught by Wright, breaks the tackle, tries to get a block, and downed inside the 10. It's now 3rd and goal after 2 straight runs. A 3rd straight carry goes nowhere. Now lead Houston to bring out this small child to kick the field goal. It's now 7-3. Houston would have the ball back in the second quarter, same score. Ty Howard is a runaway freight train. A few plays later, 3rd and 4, Falk in the pocket, plenty of time, finds Wright, gets the first. Following play, they go to Double J, takes it outside, but not outside enough, tackled at the 40. Next play, 2nd and 3, Falk throws quickly to Teague for the first down. The Texans have the momentum on this drive. Falk moves, going deep towards the end zone. Wright makes the catch. Now in the second half, Houston up 10-3. Double J breaks a tackle and gets past the first. A few plays later, Falk in the pocket, pressured, going deep. Can I have some more with a catch? Tackled near the 25. The following play, Falk drops back, throws, caught, Wright, tackled inside the 10. It's 2nd and goal. They ran 3 times last time. This time, passes knocked away. 3rd and goal, Falk in the pocket, moves, buying time to the end zone, incomplete. Now lead to this child coming back out to make it 13-7 Houston. In the 4th, Houston trying to run out the clock. Double J fumbles and it's recovered by Miami. Remember, they're only down by 6 points. Miami play actions going deep. Brooks with the catch. Looks like things have gone sideways for Houston. Another pass to get near the first. 3rd and 1 at the 2-minute warning. Play action over the middle inside the 5. Can Houston make the stop? Stanley to the end zone, and it's all tied up at 13. The extra point will give them a 1-point lead with under 2 minutes to go. Does the dream of returning to the Super Bowl end here for Houston? Falk finds Teague, who stretches out and runs back to get the first. Following play, Falk in the pocket, plenty of time, moves, throws, caught, but going the wrong way. Now he's going the right way, right with the first. Less than a minute, 3rd down, they need 15, and they get more for a first. Closing in on field goal range, and they might be settling here. Double J with the carry for a few yards. It's 3rd and 4, it's a draw. Double J bouncing outside for the first, inside the 20. Their 6th-round rookie child cooks to win the game. They're going on to the conference championship. Whenever these two teams meet, you know it's going to be a fun one, but only one of them can move on, and for the second time, it's Houston. The matchup this year is looking similar to last season, taking on the Oakland Raiders in the conference championship to determine who moves on to the Super Bowl. Raiders open the game with the ball. That's not Gannon, that's Ken Jones. Equally handsome, equally smart. After that big play in the air, handoff up the middle, Mo Jackson gets across midfield. I think that might be Bo Jackson's son. 3rd down, only needing 2, throws and somehow makes the catch inbounds. Following play, pitch left side, Mo has the edge, has the first down and tackled at the 23. Nearing the red zone, back to Mo, has the blocking and gets inside the red zone. 3rd and 3, Jones throws, caught by Angelo White. The drive has taken the entire first quarter to to the end zone, knocked away. That's going to bring out Seabass to make it 3-0. Nothing happens until the fourth, still 3-0. Falk finds Wright for a big play. Following play, back in the pocket, Falk with touch, Teague with hands. After those two pass plays, Double J takes the pitch, finds the edge, and finds the end zone, giving them the lead. Just over a minute, can they have a game-winning drive? Jones throws to the flat, pull, brings him down by the face mask. They're near midfield after the penalty. Third down, Jones throws and dropped. Fourth down, who goes to the Super Bowl? Jones throws deep and knocked away for the second straight season. The Houston Texans will be going to the Super Bowl. Let's just hope for the fans it's not as boring as this one. Will this be the season that Ed Falk can cement himself in the history books for winning the Super Bowl, or will he be ridden alongside Fran Tarkenton, John Elway, and Jim Kelly as the only quarterbacks to lose 2 Super Bowls back to back? We start this one with the 49ers punting it away. We have yet to see a kick return for a touchdown. Is today the day? No, but it was a heck of a kick out at the 2. How does Houston get out of their own end zone? Give it to Double J, gain of 5. Following play, Falk in the pocket finds more, clink, and gets the first. 3rd and 5, same drive. Falk finds more again to extend the drive, tackled at the 45. Same drive in the second quarter, another 3rd down. Falk finds his fullback Howard for a first. A play later, Falk in the pocket checks it down. Double J with the catch and another first. The following play, it's a pitch. Double J has the edge, has the first, has the speed, but does he have the touchdown? Yes, he does. Houston scores first. We skip to the final minute of the half. Houston's ball. Falk finds Wright to get into field goal range. A play later, Falk feeling pressure, going deep, has a receiver behind the secondary. Wright takes it in for a score. Believe it or not, Houston has it again. Falk over the middle, Teague, and gets into field goal range. This kick right here from this small child will make it 17-0 Houston to end the first half. We have some San Francisco highlights. We had that punt, here's another. Then again, this could be returned for a touchdown, but it's a fumble, and it's recovered by Houston. They couldn't even recover a fumble right in front of their eyes. First play after the punt, Falk throws to the sideline, Teague with the catch, a first down, and destroys that man's pass. A few plays later, 3rd down, Falk finds his thick back for another first down. Near midfield, Falk, play action in the pocket, going deep. They don't feel it, but Wright makes the catch. Another long drive, they hand it off to Double J, who makes his way down to the 1. We're now at the start of the 4th quarter. Double J trips and gets in. They're now up 24-0. Can the 49ers avoid being the first team shut out in the Super Bowl? Harris finds Oliver to get near midfield. Plenty of time to avoid the shutout. Harris hit as he throws, and it's picked off by Alexander, and that's not great for San Francisco. That will end the game. The 49ers are shut out for the first time in Super Bowl history, and Ed Falk's name will not be written besides 3 Hall of Famers for losing back-to-back Super Bowls. But can we get to 3? Having no one retire will help, but we'll need to bring back as many starters as possible. Jeffries has begun to regress. This might be his final contract. Earl Brent has been a dominant defensive tackle. He's coming back. Tom Holmes, that middle linebacker, will be back. Johnny Anthony had a surprisingly good season last year. He's returning. As much as I'd like to move on from Alexander, he's coming back. I was debating bringing back Castle. I'm thinking he's coming back. Players not returning. Matt Sapp, too slow. He gone. Kevin Nalen, backup quarterback. He wants a pay raise. He gone. RB Mullen isn't going to be cheap anymore. He gone. Leroy Patterson is a solid backup player, but he's 30. Time to move on. The biggest name not coming back is Max Poole. We have the money to resign him, but we don't really need him at the spot. Plus, he's 32. He's going to regress eventually. John Strode was one of 2 long-standing veterans on the offensive line. He's not coming back. Scott Short was the best veteran we had on this offensive line. Deserves to be in the Ring of Honor, maybe even the Hall of Fame, but he's not finishing his career here. My first ever draft pick, Andre Dishman. Look at what he did to my boy. Sadly, he's not coming back. I will say free agency was disappointing this season. I was hoping to find some elite players. None, besides Poole. I did make an offer to Ronald Jr. to be our nickel corner. He accepted. I also made an offer to aging veteran Ty Bowman. 1-year deal. He accepted. We do have the last pick in the first round. I'll tell you right now, there was nobody I particularly wanted. I just reached on project players, selected an outside linebacker in the first. After that, I focused on speed and depth, but this draft was bad in my opinion. Before we look at the roster, come on, baby. You knew I was going to bring him back. Dishman returns with some depth in Kent. Ed Falk, for the 3rd year, stays in the 99 club. He's also 30. Double J is getting closer to elite territory. Moore is the #1 guy now, but can never go wrong with Wright, while Jeffries is beginning to wind down his career. The offensive line had a 180. The tackles now have become a question mark, but the interior of the line is pretty decent. Defensive line will need to be improved, specifically the defensive ends. Lloyd is 9 years into his career, Dishman 13. We need young blood. The linebackers will utilize both right outside linebackers for those outside positions. Holmes and Shakur will be in the interior. Gaynor has hit elite territory. Nice to finally have an elite corner. Dixon at free safety was injured last year. Slow progression. Alexander at strong safety. Let's simulate the season. We finished with our 3rd straight 10-win season, but we struggled more. Did win the division for the 5th time. The offense was back to being Drew Brees-like, and well, the defense was worse than the Saints when Drew Brees was on it. Falk was injured during some games, but not hurt enough to miss any starts. I'd imagine he'd have close to 5,000 had he stayed healthy. Double J just keeps getting better each year in production. Can we declare it now? Wright is a Hall of Famer. His only non-1,000-yard season was his rookie year with Kerry Collins. The O-line sucked. Shakur led in tackles over 100. Reginald Spikes led with 6 sacks, while Jr. led with 4 interceptions. The Texans have been in more Super Bowls than they've been in the wildcard round, but that changes with their 2nd appearance here, and it'll be against the Miami Dolphins. They beat them in the conference round 2 years ago, the divisional round last year. Can they beat them for the 3rd straight year in the playoffs, this time in the wild card? We start this one towards the end of the first. Dolphins ball, 3rd and 3, and it's picked off by defensive end Lloyd. Stanley the Manly chasing him down, but can't make the tackle. Houston brings it back for a touchdown. We're now halfway through the 2nd. Houston's ball, 3rd down. Falk finds Wright open and gets enough for the 1st. Near midfield, 2nd down. Falk going deep. Wright makes the catch. Look at his speed. He's pretty slow now. They're inside the 10 after that big play. Falk to the end zone, finds Double J to make it 14-0. The final 2 minutes of the half. Miami needs to get something going. Manly down the middle, caught to get them close to field goal range. The following play, Stanley standing on the logo, throws off balance and picked off by Gaynor. Miami would get the ball back with 32 seconds left in the half. This pass to get close to the 30. The following play, 26 seconds left, great protection. Stanley throws, going deep, and he has Brooks on the big play. 19 seconds left in the half. Stanley, Cohen makes the catch, has the space, has the speed, has the touchdown to make it 14-7. We're now in the 2nd half, bottom of the 3rd. Falk, and it's picked off by Washington. That sets Miami up in good field position. Feeney takes the handoff outside, inside the red zone, fumbled out of bounds. Same drive in the 4th. Stanley going to the end zone, and it's knocked away by Gaynor. Now lead to Miami kicking a field goal to make it 14-10. Near the 2-minute warning, a 1st down can potentially end the game. Tackled short of the 1st. Miami has a chance to win with a touchdown here. Stanley finds Brooks for the 1st. It's now 3rd down. Stanley in the pocket, pumps, plenty of time. Protection holds up, going deep and overthrows his guy. The game can end here. 4th down. Stanley dropped by Brooks. For the third straight year, Miami loses to Houston in the playoffs. They'll be moving on to the divisional round for the third straight year as well. I'm sure a lot of people are tired of seeing Houston in the Super Bowl. They'll be facing the newest rising team in the Pittsburgh Steelers in their home turf. On paper, they don't look good, but they did beat them in the season opener. Does Houston's year end the same way it started? We start in the middle of the first. Houston, Falk on the move, finds Moore for first. It's now 2nd and 14. Falk in the pocket finds Wright for another first. They're now inside the red zone. Falk with time over the middle. Double J with a catch and gets brought down at the 2. Final play of the quarter, handoff. Double J finds his way in for a score. Steelers chance to answer back. 3rd and 16, Phillips pumps, throws, has a guy for the first. Following play, pressured immediately, gets hit as he throws and caught by their big tight end. They wouldn't be able to do anything else, forcing a field goal. It's up, has the leg, it's now 7-3. Here's a punt from Houston. Buckle up because we're still waiting to see a punt return for a touchdown. Is today the day? It's a fumble recovered by Houston. A play later, Houston pitches it right side. Double J has the edge, has the first, inside the 10 and downed at the 4. It's now 3rd and goal, under a minute. Double J can't find the end zone. That'll lead to this small child to make it a 1-touchdown game again. Skip towards the final minute of the 3rd, same score. Falk has plenty of time going deep and is caught by Wright and he fumbles it. Pittsburgh recovers it and they're going to bring it past the 50 down near the 40. The drive couldn't move much further. Pittsburgh with another field goal attempt, this time no good. Remember last week when all Houston needed to do was convert on 3rd. They do it again, giving Pittsburgh a chance to tie it with under 3 minutes. Phillips throws a hospital pass for a big gain. 3rd down on the drive, Phillips in the pocket, moves, throws, and dropped by his receiver. 4th down, game's over if they don't get it here. Phillips finds his tight end for the first. They're now at midfield. Phillips in the pocket, plenty of time, throws, has a receiver for a new set of downs. Pittsburgh has all the momentum now. Defensive line can't get pressure. Phillips with all day to throw and finds his tight end. With a minute to go, this drive could be the game. Phillips, Gray for a big first down. They're now inside the 10. Phillips with time, throws to the end zone, dropped. Is the momentum gone? Phillips moves, throws back to his left, and he powers his way in to tie it. That means this game is going into overtime. We go late in the quarter, Pittsburgh's ball near midfield. 3rd down and Houston can't make the stop. Another 3rd down, trying to get into better field goal range. Pressure's getting there, they can't sack him, throws and caught for a first down. That's going to bring out the kicker. Missed once already today, but this one goes through. Looks like Houston won't be returning to the Super Bowl for the 3rd straight year, and I'm sure some fans are happy about that. The so-called dynasty ends. Or does it? We have to try and keep it going, right? No retirements, but we got big names to resign, like Falk. 31 years old, might be his final contract. Double J is elite and he's going to be important when Falk falls apart. We're bringing back Wright on a 1-year deal. Same thing with Spikes. This will be their last run with the team. We also brought back our elite and best corner in the series, Gainer. Players not returning. Charles isn't going to change my mind. He's gone. Fields back up on the verge of 30. He gone. Same with Teague. He gone. Simpson backup, gonna be expensive. He gone. Howard over 30. Regressing, he gone. Bowman was a 1-year rental, he gone. Andre Dishman, I'm sorry, but you should have retired, he gone. We're now moving on to free agency and I'm already eyeing Steve Stanley. I gave him an offer and the Patriots outbid me. I gave him another offer and the Jets outbid me. I gave him another offer and the Giants outbid me. I gave him another offer and he signed. I don't know what to do with my hands. I did sign 4 other players, cheap depth players, that is all. Moving on to the draft, we had the 25th pick this season, but 2 players at right tackle were available. Johnston, the better player, but French, 2 years younger. He could be better. I went Johnston. Then in the 2nd, a strong safety fell into our laps, Spinell. I took him. Then in the 3rd, a fullback fell into our laps. I took him. Then in the 4th, a tight end fell into our laps. laps, Winfield, one of the best players in the draft, I took him. Then in the 5th, a running back fell into our laps, Anderson, I took him. Other than having my lap be completely crushed by all these players, it was a solid draft. Before we go over the roster, Dom Capers 3 needs 13 more wins to have 100 career wins. He's technically the longest tenured coach, now surpassing Gary Kubiak. He also has the most wins in franchise history and division titles with 5. His career will forever be connected with Falk. They started together, we'll see if they finish together. Double J is now elite, and I'm thinking of balancing the offense a bit. Moore is still the number 1, but with Teague gone, Wright will stay the number 2 with the speedster Roberts behind him. Jeffries is on the way out, and that's why I drafted that tight end. The offensive line is young enough that in 4 to 5 years they may be elite again. Problem is, I don't know if Falk will be around. Also, we really need to find younger players for the defensive line. 3 of the 4 starters are in regression. I think linebacker is in a good place. Solid interior, and the outside with Edwards and Abrahams should be good. The secondary has become a strength again, at least the corners, while Dixon has improved quite a bit. Alexander may be replaced soon with Spinell. I mentioned changing the scheme. I'm going 60-40 in favor of the pass to test how well Double J does. Let's simulate the season. Well, I wasn't expecting that. We started the year 3-9. The offense was about as expected, but sweet and sour chicken was the defense terrible. Ed Falk continues to be, well, Ed Falk. This year he only won the AFC MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and Best Quarterback. Double J showed me that less is more. More when healthy is elite, but Wright still got it. The offensive line? Tom Holmes led in tackles and won AFC Defensive Player of the Year. No one had double-digit sacks, which is disappointing, while Gaynor rewards us for re-signing him with 7 interceptions. I'm changing the scheme again. We finished 7-9. We're going all in on Falk. We also can't stop the pass. We're gonna have to try to stop the pass. One of our draft picks finally retired with the team, Jeffries. Players who will be back: Fred Moore on potentially his final contract. Corey Redmond, he's the starter that took over for Scott Short at left tackle. Ralph Jensen is returning as the starter at right guard. Byron Roberts will now be moving up to the starter in the interior. Tom Holmes has a few more elite years in him, maybe. Ben Edwards is our first elite outside linebacker. He's returning. Lastly, Glenn Dixon will be back at free safety. Players not returning: Ted King, he's expensive, he gone. Chris Alexander, he's elite, he's 30, he's about to be gone. Corey Shakur is over 30, he's regressing, he gone. Reginald Spikes, I said this was his last year, I meant it, he gone. Rodney Lloyd was elite, he ain't anymore, he gone. Wayne Wright, I also said this was his last year, I lied, he's coming back. That means Robert London won't be returning at receiver. Moving on to free agency, I gave an offer to a 25-year-old defensive end. We need youth, and I doubt I'll fill both spots in the draft. He accepted our offer. We do have the 12th pick in the draft. We'll have options. Boy, do we. I was interested in another receiver. Wright isn't going to be around forever. I was also interested in the best cornerback in the draft. The problem is we really need a defensive end. I went defensive end. I did pick up a receiver in the 2nd round, but after that it was mostly depth. We're beginning to see the regression of our future Hall of Famer Ed Falk. I'm sad. Double J is closing in on the 99 club. Can he carry the team in the future? Moore is also regressing, same with the right. Roberts is the return man. Holt, the number 3. The offensive line is still the same as last year, but we're not having as much progress as we did in the beginning of the series. We don't have a left end, that's fine, because we have 3 right ends and 3 rights make a left. The linebackers will have Holmes in the interior, Edwards and Abraham will be the starters on the outside. Gaynor is creeping up in the 99 club. Dixon had a huge improvement, though strong safety may be an issue this season. Let's simulate the season. We now have won our 6th division title. We were the best team in the NFL. We actually started the year 11-0. I'm getting 2020 Pittsburgh Steelers vibes. The passing offense was legit. The pass defense, not so much. Falk is so good. Won a 3rd MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and Best Quarterback. Hold up. He had a brother this entire time playing with the Titans. Double J ended up getting injured, but will be ready for the playoffs. Put right in the Hall of Fame. That's his 12th straight 1,000 1,000-yard season. The offensive line, Jensen, what happened? Tom Holmes led the team in tackles under 100. Brandt led with sacks, first double-digit sacks in a while, while Gaynor once again led with interceptions. For the second time in this series, Dom Capers 3 earned the Coach of the Year. Every time I think the Texans are going to start falling apart, they pull me back in. They've now been in more divisional rounds 6 than wildcard rounds 2. That's impressive. Brother versus brother is next. John Falk will lead the first drive for the Titans. Clink, spins back around, gets the first, past the 40 and tackled at midfield. The following play action, Falk throws, Jones in double coverage with the play. That's as far as the drive would go, as they would kick a field goal to get the first points in the game. Now it's Ed Falk's chance to show what he can do as the older brother. By a year, finds Wright for a big gain. It's now the second quarter, Falk in the pocket, throws, finds Wright again to get near the first. 3rd and inches, and they give it to Double J. He has the edge, has the first, breaks away inside the 20, the 10, the price is wrong, and gets into the end zone. We have yet to see a punt return for a touchdown. Is today the day? Am I hyping it too much for a fumble? Avoids a man. Is he going to bring? No, he's not. He would get in near midfield. Falk in the pocket, 3rd down, going deep, and the tight end Winfield hold on. Same drive, 3rd and 15, over 30 seconds left in the half, going deep, and can I have some more with a touchdown? Only 14 seconds left in the half. I wouldn't be showing a meaningless punt, would I? Roberts almost broke one off. He breaks the tackle, and look at him go. He brings it past the 40. With only 4 seconds left in the half, Falk with plenty of time, the final play in the half, Holt wide open for a score. We're now in the 3rd quarter, another punt. He almost broke one before the first half ended. He'll be returning this one from the 20. Spin move. He breaks a tackle, avoids another one, and look at him go. That's what 99 speed looks like, and they'll now be up 28-3. Titans don't have an answer to Houston. It's a pitch. Double J has the edge. He's got get away from that. Oh no, wait, they got him. Following play, they go back to Double J. He's looking for the edge, but doesn't have the angle near the first. Next play, they don't go to Double J. Falk finds Holt wide open, who fights his way in for a score. At this point, the Titans are playing for pride. Down 35-3, Falk finds Richardson wide open down the middle and gets near midfield. The following play, Falk in the pocket with plenty of time, throws, finds Richardson again, fighting his way for a few extra yards. 8 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, Falk finds Otis behind the secondary, breaks the tackle inside the 10, down at the 5. They move down to the 2, and on 3rd and goal, they punch it in with Rutledge. At this point, the game is over and they're just running down the clock. Double J getting near the first. On 2nd and inches, they go back to Double J, who breaks through for a big gain. Same drive, it's now 3rd and 1 inside the red zone. Double J takes it all the way in for a score. Who saw this coming? Texans limped into the playoffs after an 11-0 start, finished 1-4. Looks like they're at 100% again. The dynasty is back! This will now be Falk's 4th conference championship appearance. He's been in 2 Super Bowls already based on his past 5 seasons. He's most likely going into the Hall of Fame, but if he makes a 3rd Super Bowl appearance, I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Let's see if he sets the tone on the first drive. Handoff, Double J has space and tackled near the first. It's now 3rd and 1. Falk in the pocket trying to buy time. Throws deep, has this tight end Winfield for a big gain. They're now near midfield. Plenty of time in the pocket. Finds Wright, curves back around for the first. Same drive, 2nd and 5. Falk checks it down to Double J in the flat and gets a face mask. That's as far as the drive would go. It would lead to this small child getting the first points. The Patriots have a rookie as their quarterback. Sims finds Nicholas for first. The following play in the shotgun, Sims under pressure finds Robbins for another first. They're now in the 2nd quarter. Same drive, 3rd and 7. Plenty of time. Sims finds Joyce to extend the drive. The next play in the shotgun again. Sims moves, throws, finds props, tackled at the 10. It's now 3rd and goal. Sims in the pocket, down the middle, caught for a touchdown. Houston finds themselves down, but for how long? Falk finds Double J down the sideline. He has the speed. There he goes, but brought down by a shoestring. The next play, they go back to Double J, pitch right side. He has the first, he has the speed, but he doesn't have the angle. They would eventually push it into the 10. Pressure, Falk to the end zone. Holt makes the catch. New England will only have 35 seconds left to tie the game up in the first half. Sims is going deep and it's caught. Speed is the game and the secondary just lost. Patriots are back up. We're now in the second half. New England is up 14-10, but they're looking to add more points down at midfield. The following play action, Sims throws to the right side, props with a catch. Drive would stall out there. This kick will make it a 7-point game again. Can Houston tie the game up? Falk in the pocket, plenty of time, going down the middle, Moore with another catch. Another third down for the go. Falk trying to buy time, steps up, throws on the move, caught by Moore again. It's now the start of the fourth quarter. Falk throws, Holt makes the catch, inside the 10. Third and goal, converted 2, can they make it 3 to the end zone? Can't keep both feet in bounds. They'll bring out this small child to make it a 4-point game. They're still down. They'll need to force New England to punt the ball. Second down, Sims finds props for first. A play later, second down, they hand it to Ham, who finds a gap, gets the first and a little bit more. It's now 3rd and 9. Houston needs a stop, but they give up the edge and they'll give up the first and the game. Houston will not return to the Super Bowl, losing to a rookie quarterback, and is looking more likely that the dynasty is over. Even though we didn't make it back to the Super Bowl, we at least got DC 3 over 100 wins. Sadly, Wayne Wright has called it a career. I looked up his career stats. He had 983 receptions, 15,081 yards receiving, and 140 touchdowns. He's absolutely a first ballot Hall of Famer. We had a big holdout. Ed Falk wants more money even though he's regressing. He wanted $16 million. I gave him $14 for 2 years. I also re-signed Wally Fisk, 1-year deal. Ronald Jr. is 29. This will be his final contract. Not a lot of news this offseason, but Steve Stanley will not be returning. Moving over to free agency, I gave David Daniels an offer. The left outside linebacker was the best player available. I also gave an offer to Conrad Van Diver at cornerback. We're aging there. Both of them agreed to our offers. We had the 30th pick in the draft. Not a lot of options this late in the draft. I wanted a defensive end, but I settled for a defensive tackle. It was an okay draft, biggest steal being Blackman in the 4th, but most players will be depth. Ed Falk will continue to be our starter. He's still elite, and don't you forget it, Double J is very close to being in the 99 club. Eventually he'll be the leader. Moore is regressing each season. Holt, Blackman, and Roberts will be the future. I don't think we'll ever get an offensive line like when everyone was mostly elite, but that's fine. They just have to be good. I was hoping to draft a left end, but there was no one available. We're still much younger in the position compared to 2 seasons ago. The linebackers are the strength of this team, but how much will Daniel Davis have an impact this coming season? The secondary is solid, but we've been ranked last in the pass defense for years. Something has to change. Dixon is elite, good on him, while Spinell will have a chance to prove his worth. Also, I'm making a slight change, focus a little more on pass defense. Let's simulate the season. We finished the season 8-8, just missed out on the division. We barely missed out on the wild card. It didn't help that we had a late season collapse. Same thing again. Pass offense was elite, the pass defense was awful. Should we be more aggressive or conservative? Ed Falk continues to be elite. He's a Hall of Famer, right? I don't think Double J has what it takes to be a bell cow. I do think he's a better receiver. Moore seemed to have been injured. Holt picked up the slack. The offensive line wasn't great. Tom Holmes led in tackles as well as sacks. Roberts and Edwards behind him, while Jr. led in interceptions. Yeah, the dynasty is over, but that doesn't mean we can't start a new one. No retirements this season. Double J is going to be part of a new dynasty, maybe. I have high hopes for Ty Roberts at receiver. He's returning. Ralph Jensen is holding out. He sucks, but I don't feel like developing someone new. Levi Johnston has the ability to be our best lineman since Scott Short. He's coming back. Earl Brandt, no longer 99, might be his final contract. Byron Abraham will be retaking left outside linebacker. Gaynor is the best corner we've had. Of course, he's coming back. I debated bringing him back, but Moore will be coming back for one more season. Players not returning, 1-year rental, Daniel Davis. Johnny Anthony was a solid signing, but he's 32, time to move on. Wally Fisk was another solid signing. He's also 32. He's not coming back. Final player is Derek Holmes. We have a tight end. We don't need him. He got own. Now, going to free agency, there was one guy I was interested in, Lance Price. He's a solid number 1 receiver, but truth be told, he'll slow the progression of my younger guys. I skipped the rest of free agency. Moving on to the draft, this year we'll have the 18th pick in the draft. There were some players I wanted, specifically corners, to help strengthen the worst part of the defense. None of the guys I wanted was there besides Shane Ford at left defensive end. Overall, our draft class might look weak, but I think in a few years some of them might end up contributing to the team. This might be the final year that Ed Falk is going to be elite. Double J has finally hit the 99 club. Holt will be the number 1, Roberts will be the 2, Moore as the 3rd. Winfield was why I let Holmes walk at tight end. The offensive line has been in a strange place, never good enough to be all elite, but not bad enough to justify blowing it all up. Finally, we have 2 young defensive ends ready to go on this team, and our interior is still pretty solid. The linebackers will be back to normal with Holmes at interior, Edwards, Abrams on the outside. Again, the cornerbacks aren't bad, but here's hoping that Johnson improves in the next few years. Dixon is closing in on the 99 club while Spinell has improved. I did decide to make the offense slightly more conservative while the defense will be way more conservative. Maybe we don't have the players for an aggressive team. Let's simulate the season. You gotta be joking me. We finished 8-8 again, missed out of the division title again. We just missed out of the wild card again. We had one of the best offenses too. Maybe going conservative was the wrong choice. Ed Falk threw for over 5,000 yards for the 2nd time in his career. Double J is not the guy this team can rely on as a pure running back. This is why I was so hyped about Roberts. Speed is elite. Holt is always open. The offensive line was so much better too. Abrams and Edwards led in tackles while Holmes led in sacks despite being injured. Gaynor and Dixon also tied in interceptions. You know, we're gonna be more aggressive. What do we got to lose? We've gone 8-8 the past 2 seasons. I feel like DC3 might be on the hot seat. No retirements this season, but I noticed that Stanley the Manly was here. He was only 36 when he retired. 2 other players, 36 and 34, but a big name in Michael Vick retired at 39. I doubt Ed Falk will stay around that long. This could be his final year at 35. Maybe we get an extra year out of him. We brought him back on a 2-year deal. I don't talk about fullbacks much, but he's coming back. Tom Holmes is beginning to regress, will be his final contract. Ronald Jr. is also regressing, his final contract as well. This might be Falk's farewell tour. I'm bringing back Moore for his final run. Big name not returning is Spinell. I'm not happy with his progression. Hunter Ray Jordan will not be returning. Moving over to free agency, if it's the final run for Falk, let's go big. I made an offer to James Stewart to help boost our pass defense. I also made an offer to Marquise Berger to replace Spinell on a 1-year deal. They both accepted. We're going to have the 14th pick in the draft. There's 2 really good quarterbacks and I doubt they fall that far. One of them fell that far. The problem is, do we really need them? There's only 13 seasons left and I'd rather go defense this year. I'll worry about the future of the offense next year. To be fair, I did draft some offensive linemen for the future. I'm a bit emotional since this might be the final year of Ed Falk. Double J is going to have to start carrying the team soon. He is in the 99 club. Holt and Roberts had a phenomenal season last year and they need to do it again. Winfield in the 99 club. Don't be surprised if after Falk retires I blow up the offensive line and start over again. There's not a lot of time left before the series is done. The defensive line is in a shaky position. The ends are developing but the interior is regressing. We'll need to address that soon. No left outside linebacker. Holmes is slowing down and the rookie will take over soon while Abraham and Edwards are elite. I'm really hoping that the signing of Stewart can help this pass defense be legit again. Dixon is closing in on the 99 club while Berger is only going to be here for a year. Let's not forget about the Weapon X fiasco. Let's simulate the season. In the 18 years of this franchise, we have a first. Our first wild card, which is a bummer since we started 6-2. Well, the offense looked less efficient, the defense not great, allowed less points. Looks like the Ed Falk era ends a lot sooner than I wanted it to. Of course, I should have drafted a quarterback. A hip fracture will end his career on his final season. This sucks. Double J had one of his better seasons on the ground. He was even more impressive in the air, almost 3 1,000-yard receivers. The offensive line was even pretty decent. Abraham led the team in tackles and in sacks and in interceptions, yet he only won AFC Best Linebacker. Also, the small child at kicker was perfect this season, even earned an award for it. One of the best rosters this team has ever had, and Falk had a career-ending injury. The Texans managed to sneak into the playoffs as a wild card for the first time ever. I wouldn't be surprised if they go one and done without Falk. They'll be taking on one of the teams that denied them from going to the Super Bowl. Heath Lindsay, the 6th round pick a year ago, is the starter at quarterback, and he finds Roberts wide open down the sideline, finally tackled at the 30. A play later, they give it to Urban, who goes commando. He has the blocking, he has the first, the fullback on the move. It's now 3rd down near the 10. This play might look familiar. To the back of the end zone, can't keep his feet in bounds. They lost the conference game the same way. This kick to make it 3-0. New England has the ball now. They have their own fullback who can make some moves. 7 on the carry. Next play, they hand it to Ham up the middle and gets the 1st down. I'm sure Houston remembers Ham very well. They lost the game because of a run very similar to this one. Another 1st down pushed out. A play later, play action, Sims in the pocket, throws, finds Nichols for 1st. Drive stalls in the red zone, forcing New England to tie the game up at 3. There's just over 2 minutes in the half. Double J with the pitch, right side, has the blocks, has the 1st, down the sideline, breaks the tackle, pushed out. It's now 3rd and 2, same drive. Lindsay going deep, Roberts makes the catch, defender missed, and he takes it all the way in for a score. Remember when New England scored right before the half in the AFC Championship game 3 seasons ago? Alderman does his best to return the favor, but he doesn't have the speed to get into the end zone. That means this small child has to come out for a 53-yard attempt. Houston up 13-3. We're now in the second half. Final minute of the 3rd. Lindsay finds Holt for a 1st. Another 3rd down on the drive. 8 to go. Double J splits the defense, breaks the tackle. He's got one guy to beat. He's trying to outrun him, and someone else takes him out, and not on a date. Closing in on the final 2 minutes. Double J makes a move, has the 1st inside the red zone. The next play from the 11. Double J left side, and he makes his way in for a touchdown. The Texans would beat the Patriots 20-3. They're doing their best Falk farewell tour. Can they end it by gifting him a ring in his final season? They'll now be taking on a team that they've seemed to have some of the most boring playoff games against in the Oakland Raiders. Is today the day we say farewell to Falk? We start out with Oakland having the ball. They hand it to Shatsky up the middle. It's now 3rd and 3. They go back to Shatsky, takes it outside, has the 1st. The following play action, Erickson down the middle, finds Allen and get across midfield. The next play, in the pocket, steps up, throws, finds Brown for a gain of 8. A play later, they don't run. Erickson in the pocket, throws, finds Brown to get to the 10. Drive goes to the start of the 2nd, 3rd and 4. It's a fumble, but recovered by Oakland short of the 1st. That means the defense bent, almost shattered, but didn't give up the touchdown. Can Lindsay do what he did last week? Throws down the middle, caught by Blackman. The very next play, handoff to Double J, who starts rumbling and bumbling, and there he goes. He has the 1st, one guy to beat, brought down by his shoes. Nearing the red zone after the big run, Lindsay with time to the end zone, caught by Holt for a touchdown. They're now up 7-3. Maybe this isn't going to be a boring game like the last one. Handoff, Shatsky finds the edge and the 1st. Under 2 minutes, 3rd and 6, free rusher, throws off balance to get across midfield. Another 3rd down on the drive. Erickson in the pocket, plenty of time, finds Brown but short of the 1st. They'll bring out the kicking unit for a 51-yarder, and it just goes through. Now in the 3rd, Houston still leading 7-6. Erickson with time, finds Brown deep, breaks the tackle, gets brought down at the 34. Same drive in the 4th. Now 3rd down, Erickson has all day to throw, has a guy, and he can't hold on to it. They made a kick, same direction from 51, same length for the lead, short. All Houston needs to do is run the clock. Can't convert the 3rd. That means they'll have to punt it here. Will it be returned back to good field position? No. They'll fair catch it near the 30, close to a muffed punt. The drive to win the game. 3rd and 8. Erickson, looking flustered, moves around, gets rid of it for a gain of 1. The Raiders rushing back to the line. You can see him, number 93, taking his time. Get up! Getting back to the line. Did he get there? No, he didn't. Erickson finds Brown, but tackled short, but it doesn't matter. 4th and 2. Game comes down to this. Erickson incomplete, and the Texans are now going to their 5th AFC Championship game. They're doing this for the Falk. Can they give him a 3rd Super Bowl ring? The Texans are on the door, returning back to the Super Bowl for the first time in 6 years. The last time they were this close was 3 seasons ago when they were eliminated by the Patriots. This year they beat them in the wild card. They've been there 4 times before. The only other team that beat them in the conference is this team they face here today, the Cleveland Browns. They'll start the game off first. Jackson in the pocket going deep. Dwight with a catch brought down at the 31. Drive wouldn't go much further. Browns would take an early 3-0 lead. Why would I be showing a kickoff? Well, we all remember Roberts returned a punt for a touchdown in the playoffs 3 years ago. Today, they're doing it. He fumbled. Recovered by the Browns. The defense did do their thing, holding them to just a field goal. Houston finally has the ball. A pitch, double J. He goes outside and he has a first down. The following play near the 45. Lindsey rolls right, finds Blackman to get across midfield. Same drive, second quarter on 3rd down. They need 7. Lindsey goes back to Blackman, who makes a spectacular one-handed grab. They're now just outside the red zone. A pitch to double J breaks the tackle around the edge and gets the first. After the run inside the 10, they give it to the backup. Anderson goes in untouched for the 1-point lead. There's still plenty of time in the half. Jackson moves, finds Booker, his back. 3rd down and inches. They go back to Booker, takes it left side, easily gets the first. 2 minutes to go in the half. Booker takes the carry. Fullback seals the edge. He has the first down, tackled near midfield. They rush back to the line. Time is running down. Jackson throws. Dwight with a catch. The following play, Jackson in the pocket, throws down the middle and somehow squeezes that through down near the 10. A play later, they go to Smith, the bruiser, powering his way in for a score, and they're now up 13-7. Houston scored before the half in the wild card. They're looking to do the same here, and I completely forgot their helmets come off in this game. The following play after the big hit, Lindsey moves, pumps, throws on a rope, Holt with a catch. They're now at the 25, very minimum, near field goal range. Lindsey picked off, and that's how the first half ends. Second half begins with Houston. Double J breaks the tackle and has a nice gain. It's now 3rd down, counter. Double J has a big boy in front of him, got the first. A play later, Lindsey in the pocket, plenty of time, right side deep. Roberts with a catch. Same drive, 3rd down, only needing 3 to go. Lindsey, Holt breaks the tackle, and there he goes. They reclaim the lead by 1 point. Houston with the ball back with a minute to go in the 3rd. Lindsey with the all-data throw finds his tight end Winfield for the first. It's now 3rd down, same drive. In the 4th, Lindsey throws and finds Holt, who gets jiggy with it for a score. They're now up 21-13. It's not over for Cleveland. Jackson finds Anderson. Can he break away? No! A touchdown with a 2-point conversion can tie it here. Jackson fumbles and it's on the ground. Houston recovers, and just like that, the Houston Texans are back, baby, in the Super Bowl for the 3rd time in this franchise. Does this story have the fairy tale ending it deserves? In Ed Falk's entire career with the Texans, they've now made 3 Super Bowls. They've missed out twice. They beat the Patriots in the wild card, who denied them a Super Bowl appearance in year 15. They beat the Browns in the conference, who also denied them a Super Bowl appearance in year 9. And now they take on the Vikings, who beat them in their first Super Bowl appearance in year 11. This could have been the Falk Bowl, but instead, they're trying to win it for the Falk. We'll start in the final minute of the first. 3rd down, 2 to go. Lindsey is picked off, and that's going to give the Vikings good field position even with the hold. Start of the second. Vikings faced with a 3rd down. Falk throws, finds a receiver. Crawford with the first. Another 3rd down, 10 to go. Falk down the middle, and it's picked off by Dixon. Houston wouldn't do anything with it. Vikings ball. Falk with plenty of time, throws across his body. Brooks with a catch for a first. The following play, just over 2 minutes. Falk going deep, finds Whitehead for a big gain. Tackled at the 40. The drive would stall out there, leading to a 51-yard kick. Plenty of leg to get the first points. With under a minute and a half, can the Texans tie it? Lindsey finds Roberts, tries to break away, tackled across midfield. The following play, Lindsey in the pocket, going deep, right side, Blackman with the catch. That's as far as the drive would go. With 9 seconds left, this small child ties it up at 3. We'll start the second half with a kickoff. We're 18 years into a franchise and have yet to have a kick return for a touchdown. In this Super Bowl, the Vikings will not be the team that does it. Fumble and recovered by Houston. The very next play, they give it to Double J, makes a move, and a face mask will get them past the first. The following play, they go back to Double J, takes it left, and he fumbles, recovered by the Vikings. They wouldn't do anything with it, giving it back to Houston. First play on their drive, Lindsey finds Holt to get near the first. The next play, they go back to Double J, right side, who squeezes through for a first. On the new set of downs, they go back to Double J, right side, gets a block, has the first, tackled by Gordon. Houston has all the momentum. They go back up the middle. They get another first down from a face mask. 10 seconds left in the third. Lindsey throws. Holt with a catch inside the 10. It's now the fourth quarter. Second and goal to the back of the end zone and dropped. We've seen that before. Third and goal. Just have to be safe with the ball. Lindsey loses it. Recovered by Minnesota. The Vikings would go 3 and out, punting it back to the Texans. There has been only one punt return for a touchdown, and it was by this man Roberts, tackled at the 42. The very first play after the punt, Double J, he takes off with it, has the first, inside the 30, the 20, breaks the tackle, the 10, touchdown Houston. They're now up 10-3. Can the defense stop the Vikings and give Falk his third ring? Pass caught by Brandon, breaks a tackle, brought down near the 40. It's now third down on the drive. Falk throws, caught by Whitehead for a first. You're now across midfield, just a minute to go. Falk going deep, way back there. He had a guy missed. Third down. Falk drops back, pumps, throws, going deep, going real deep, and again he just missed Whitehead. If they don't convert, it's over. Falk throws left side and he overthrew his guy for a third time. That means they're able to send Ed Falk home with his third Super Bowl ring. He was injured, but if he wasn't, they might have gone 16-0. I think at this point, we can also put in DC3 as a Hall of Fame coach, right? 13 seasons, 6 AFC South titles, 5 AFC Championship appearances, 3 AFC titles, 2 Super Bowl wins, the last one without the guy he drafted, Ed Falk. If he hadn't gotten a career-ending injury, I think he could have given us another season or 2. In his career, he had 50,447 yards passing and 447 touchdowns in 12 seasons. He's got to be in the Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, time moves on and we need to resign players. Steve Holt, our new #1 receiver, will be back. Rock Winfield at tight end in the 99 club will be back. Andrew Vincent, the left guard who started for the first time this season, will be back. John Barry, the veteran center, will be back on a 1-year deal, getting ready to move on. Byron Abraham was in a holdout. He's getting closer to 30, might be his final contract. His buddy Ben Edwards, better than him and cheaper, might be his last contract as well. Glenn Dixon had an interception in the Super Bowl. He'll be back. The other safety, Moy, will be starting next season. He'll be back. Normally, I don't re-sign kickers. I'm bringing back this small child. Players not returning: Jeremy Martin, tight end, Depp, he gone. Shane Morton, defensive end, he's regressing, he gone. Redmond, starting left tackle, he's 31, regressing, he gone. Brian Roberts, starting defensive tackle, he's 32, he gone. Earl Brandt was 90 overall, dropped 7 points, he gone. Marquise Berger was a 1-year rental, he gone. Lastly, Fred Moore, the tour is over, he gone. In free agency, there was no player, more importantly, quarterback, that I was interested in. I skipped it. We'll have the last pick in this draft, and I doubt the best player and young quarterback available will be around. Sure enough, he wasn't around. Time to go back to rebuilding the line. Overall, not a bad draft, but our biggest need is quarterback. Not to say Lindsey doesn't deserve his chance after this past season. Double J is now in his 30s. How much longer does he have? Holt is now in the elite. Roberts and Blackman right behind him. Winfield is another solid option. The offensive line is much younger than it's been in a long while. Lots of younger players as depth looking to start soon. The defensive line is also much younger than it's been before. If we're rebuilding, I think we're doing it right so far. Linebackers are the usual suspects, but this is probably going to be Holmes' final season. Gaynor is also in his 30s, but him and Stewart should still be elite for a few more seasons. Dixon is the best free safety we've had in franchise history, while Moy will do his best to prove himself. Let's simulate the season. Without a quarterback, we have to rely too much on everyone else, and we couldn't do that this season. Finished 7-9 even without Falk. The offense was fine. The defense, on the other hand, needs a major overhaul. As much as Lindsey deserves a chance to prove himself again, this is who he is. Good, not great. We need great. I'm beginning to think about changing the scheme to be more run heavy. Of course, Holt ended up missing the season. Maybe Lindsey deserves one more year. The offensive line was solid besides Barry. Edwards led in tackles, Abraham in sacks, Dixon in interceptions. The offseason might be the most important, no retirements, but I did notice a few former players. Matt Sapp, a former first round pick of ours. Bryce Teague was on our first Super Bowl run. Biggest name, Chris Alexander, also retired. Regression comes quick. We also had a few big names to re-sign. Double J is returning on potentially his final contract with the team. Ty Roberts, same with him, might be his final contract. Bruce Gardner, an elite defensive end still in his prime, is returning. I am Cornelius Gaynor will be back on a potentially his final contract. We also had a lot of players not returning. Backup free safety Molden, he gone. Patrick Cross, defensive tackle, young but expensive, he gone. Jack Lyons, backup guard, he gone. Ralph Jensen, starting guard, he's 30, he's regressing, he gone. Ronald Jr., corner, I like him, but he's regressing hard. He's gone. John Barry, starting center, regressing. I said he was only coming back for one more year. He's gone. Lastly, Tom Holmes. I wanted him to return, but we drafted a linebacker over a quarterback. We need that linebacker to start to make that decision not seem like a mistake. He gone. Now, in free agency, there were no big names to help this team. I skipped it. We have the 12th pick in the draft. Not a single good quarterback is available in this class. I should have drafted that quarterback. I ended up going defense again this year. On paper, it looks like a good draft. 380 overall players. We'll have to wait and see. Before we look at the roster, I decided to balance out the defense a bit more. We've been struggling with this for what feels like forever. You know, another first in franchise history. I'm trading away Heath Lindsey. He's good, but we need better. I'm also packaging him with Levi Johnston. He's on the final year of his contract and on the verge of regression. I also threw in a first round pick for Browns quarterback John Jackson. There's no excuse this year if we don't get back into the playoffs. We need to get ready to move on from Double J as well. Jackson is going to have some weapons to play with on this team. The biggest question will be the offensive line. They're very young, and if things go the way I hope they do, this will be the final group of players for the final decade. Defensive line is still very young, but I don't see them lasting as long as the offensive line, plus the interior is iffy. There is a new leader at linebacker, and I hope Peterson does his best to make us not regret selecting him over a quarterback. We're also going to have to fix the corners soon. Regression is coming. Dixon is also going to regress soon, while at strong safety Conway is going to start. This is year 20. Let's simulate the season. I think we're going to have to blow up the team. The offense was struggling. The defense was awful. Why is it so awful? Of course, Jackson was injured for the season, of course. No excuses, right? It's not like Lindsey was much better, but they got our first round pick. I would love to see Double J in a run-heavy offense, but he's past his prime now. He's still really good as a receiving back, but these past 2 seasons have been rough. The new guys at center and right tackle were by far the worst on the line. Edwards led in tackles, Abraham in sacks, both Conway and Van Diver led in interceptions. The small child, while not perfect, earned best kicker in the NFL again. Another year of no retirements, but saw some familiar names. Can I have some more retired with the Giants? While that is a tasty burger retired with the 49ers. Moving on to re-signings, Urban the fullback will be back. Bobby Blackman, the number 2 receiver, will be back on his potential final contract. Brock Winfield, the tight end, is 30. He's still in the 99 club, will be back. Players not returning, Eric Moy. He became expendable when we drafted Conway. He gone. Lloyd Anderson, the backup running back, he's 29. Regression is coming. He gone. This was a relatively quiet offseason, including free agency. I skipped it again this year. We would have had the 2nd overall pick had we not traded it to the Browns last season. The good news is there was really no brainer pick in the draft class. We ended up drafting a right tackle who was too good to pass up in the 2nd, but other than that, the draft class was bad in my opinion. John Jackson didn't regress, which is good. I thought he was. Hopefully the trade was worth it. Double J is not the player he used to be, but he's still pretty good. I don't think we're going to have another elite receiver, which is fine. Holt can carry, plus we still have 99 overall Winfield. The offensive line is continuing to develop, but I'm really excited to see if they can all get into the 90s before the franchise is over. The defensive line is questionable when it comes to the interior. The edges are elite, but the inside is at least improving. The biggest question at linebacker was if Peterson was going to be as good as Holmes. He's not, but he's improving. Helps to have elite outside linebacker help. The cornerbacks have begun to regress. This might be the end of the elite secondary that we've had for a while. Dixon is the best player in the secondary, but he's on the verge of regression, while Conway may soon be the leader of the secondary come next year. I did fiddle around with the offensive scheme. I wanted to be more balanced, but screw it. Back to pass heavy. While on defense, we gotta stop the pass, and I decided to be ultra aggressive. Let's see if it works out. Let's simulate the season. We suck. The offense was legit, but the defense was kind of solid. Just gave up too many points. I wonder if the aggression had anything to do with that. We've now had our 3rd ever 5,000 yard passer, 2nd quarterback to ever do it, John Jackson. This was a good trade. Didn't win NFL MVP, but won AFC MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and Best Quarterback. Wait, is that Heath Lindsey? He had a pretty good season with the Browns. I guess it was a good trade for both teams. Double J was injured. Yeah, this was his last season with us. Holt absolutely deserves the elite label. Blackman is a solid number 2. The offensive line hasn't been terrible except for Stuckey. He's awful. Edwards led the team in tackles. Abraham in sacks. Team lacked interceptions. Conway led with 3. I decided for next season I'm toning down the aggressiveness. This might be DC3's final season if we have another bad year. No retirements like usual. Who's coming back next season? Steve Holt, that's for sure. Shane Ford, starting defensive end, is coming back. Sean Hutchinson, starting defensive tackle, is coming back. David Peterson took him over a generational quarterback. He's coming back. I Am Cornelius, been here his entire career. He should retire here. James Stewart, like Gaynor, is regressing, but he's coming back. Sean Johnson will be the final corner on the team. I planned on moving on from Dixon, but he's still pretty good. He's coming back. The small child is returning on a 1-year deal. I wasn't going to bring back Double J, but he needs to retire as a Texan. Players not returning: Greg Fong, backup guard, he gone. Patrick Nilsson, backup running back, he gone. Biggest name, Conrad Van Diver, great signing, he's regressing, he gone. We skipped the past 3 free agencies this year. We're making a splash. We gave an offer to cornerback Byron Lake. Also gave an offer to outside linebacker Craig Scarlato. Both agreed to the contract. Why did I sign them? Look, we got 8 seasons left. I said in the beginning this wasn't going to be a super realistic rebuild. This year's draft, we have the 9th selection, and once again, no top-rated quarterback. So I took a receiver. We're going ham this year. In the second round, best player available was still around. I gotta take him, right? I know what you're thinking, but I have an idea. We're going to trade away Andrew Vincent, which allows our rookie to start. We also get a second in return. We're also going to trade away Chris Myers. We drafted his replacement last year. We also get a second in return. Now, we're going to trade Ty Roberts and those 2 second-round picks for Vincent Newberry. Will it be worth it? That'll be another toy for John Jackson to play with, who's still elite, by the way. Double J clearly isn't the same guy, but he got us a ring when we needed him most. We're pass heavy for a reason. We got the players to make it work, even more so now. Don't forget about Mr. 99. The offensive line is probably in the best position it's ever been in besides the center. All those players will be riding out the final years in this franchise. The defensive ends grow older and we'll have to replace them soon, but the interior is no longer as worrying as before. The linebackers are solid, Peterson looking good, while we have solid depth at outside linebacker. The corners are old, but they'll be good enough for this season. Dixon holding down his position for 1 more year. Conway is the future leader for the secondary. Let's simulate the season. We're back, baby! Our 7th division title. The offense was pretty solid. The defense has finally become what I expected out of them, yet we only won 9 games. Incredible that Jackson's first year he was injured. It made me question the trade. Only earned NFL MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and Best Quarterback. Double J had one of his better seasons on the ground. Newberry was absolutely worth the 2 second-round picks considering Holt's injury history. Offensive line was solid besides the rookie. That was to be expected. Conway led the team in tackles. DeVine had 9 sacks. Byron Lake led with 5 interceptions. Great signing. The small child had a decent season, earned him best kicker. After 3 straight losing seasons, they've returned back to the postseason with only 8 more chances at getting another Super Bowl ring. Does number 3 come this year? They'll be taking on the Dolphins, who they seem to always have fun games against. We start this one towards the end of the first quarter. Houston's ball. Jackson finds Holt, breaks a tackle, downed at the 24. They wouldn't move a yard after that, bringing out this small child for the first points. Now we skip to the fourth quarter. Score is still 3-0 Houston. Miami punting it away. It'll be returned by Alderman. Past midfield, finally brought down at the 45. On that play action, 3rd down. Jackson finds Holt, who makes the catch, almost breaks away. Inside the red zone, they give it to Double J. He goes outside. Does he have the speed anymore? Tackled short of the end zone. He's not as fast as he used to be, but like McJagger, he's got the moves. Touchdown Houston. It's now the final 2 minutes, trying to run out the clock, and there he goes. I thought he didn't have the speed. He still has the speed. Houston up 17-0. The game is all but over. That's not Dan the Man. It's not even Stanley the Manly. That's Leonard Ackerman. Well, Leonard, trying to avoid the shutout, Ackerman in the pocket, throws, has Craig all by himself, down the sideline, breaks a tackle, makes the secondary look silly, and the linebacker Scarlato brings him down. 3rd and goal, can they get it in? Throws to Taylor and tackled short. They've converted a 4th to start this drive, and it ends with a very questionable touchdown by Miami to end the shutout. Houston will be moving on to the divisional round. It wasn't a thriller like we're used to seeing when these 2 teams play. The Texans will be looking to carry this performance over to next week. They'll be taking on the Patriots. As we all remember, they lost to New England back in year 15. They gave up a big run on 3rd down that ended the game. In year 18, they got their revenge during that magical year. How will this matchup go? We start in the final 2 minutes of the first. New England's ball. Sims on the move. move and finds Ham. A few plays later, high snap, Sims in the pocket, no pressure, throws, has Horton, makes the catch and powers through for a first. The following play with a minute to go, Sims in the pocket, all day to throw, he's writing his memoirs back there and finds Hayward for a first. Now across midfield, Sims drops back, checks it down to Ham, has space and gets the first. Near the 30, Sims in the pocket, throws left side, caught by Hayward. 2nd and 2, 45 seconds left in field goal range, and Sims takes off with it, hit and loses the ball, and they manage to get it back. Inside the red zone, 3rd down, 20 seconds to go, Sims to the end zone, he can't hold on. That means the first half ends with only 3 points on the board. New England is up. We're now in the second half. Houston's ball, score still the same, Jackson finds Holt. Following play, they go to Double J, has a hole and gets the first. Drive wouldn't go much further than that. From 53 yards out, short. Fast forward to the final quarter, Houston is punting it to New England. They're still down 3-0. Not a lot of action in this game. McDaniel on the return and he brings it back to midfield. On the ensuing drive, Sims has had great protection all day, throws down the middle, finds Miller for first. This drive would end up stalling out there, forcing New England to make it 6-0. Houston still has a chance to win with a touchdown. Jackson down the middle has Holt for the first on 3rd. The following play, Jackson moves, feeling pressure, buying time, throws, Holt can't get his hands on it. 2nd down, Jackson in the pocket, throws, Newberry with the catch in the first. 2nd down after clocking it, Jackson throws and it's dropped. 3rd down, it's 4 down territory now. Jackson throws, incomplete. Game could come down to this. Jackson throws left side, Holt can't pull it in. They do have 3 timeouts to stop here, could get them the ball back. Deja vu. New England will send the Texans home early, considering they missed out of the playoffs the past 3 years. This was a success to make it this far. Apparently, the owner didn't see it the same way I did. Still on the hot seat. The team will be going into the year without 2 longtime Texans, Gainer and Double J. Let me know if they should be in our Ring of Honor as well. Now that I'm not worrying about money, contracts for everyone. T. Irvin is coming back, starting center. Jamie Stuckey, been awful, but he's coming back. Craig Scarlato was initially a 1-year rental, but he's coming back. Ben Edwards will also be back on his potential final contract. James Stewart, now the number 2 corner, bringing him back. Patrick Conway is now the highest rated defender. He's coming back. A few players not returning. The small child isn't coming back, but the highest rated player in Byron Abraham, he gone. Another free agency this year where I give an offer to a player at cornerback. Clay Herman, 1-year deal. He accepted the offer. Moving over to the draft, we have the 27th pick this year. We could use a running back, but no way he falls that far. He didn't. But we could use a corner to beef up the aged position. The defense was beefed up this draft, but at some point we need to fix the running back spot. It's not too much of an issue with Jackson as the quarterback, but he's regressing now, and I'll be honest, I completely forgot we needed a running back. Good thing we're pass heavy. We'll continue to rely on Holt and Newberry in the air while Winfield is now regressing. The offensive line continues to improve. All but one of them are in the 90s, and the oldest player is barely 6 seasons into his career. On the defensive line, I'm getting concerned about the age of our defensive ends, but for this season, the interior and exterior are very solid. Peterson has finally become elite, but with how easy it was to select a solid linebacker in the second, I should have drafted that quarterback. Our cornerback room has turned into a retirement home. That's why we drafted Thomas. This will most likely be Dixon's final year with Heward creeping around. Conway, the best player in the secondary, at strong safety. Let's simulate the season. We're back on top, baby! The Super Bowl runs through Houston. We earned our 8th division title. Imagine being a wild card at 12-4. The team had the number 1 offense like usual, but we had the number 1 defense. Is this the first time that's ever happened in this series? Jackson had a solid season, not as good as before. Despite that, he still won NFL MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and Best Quarterback. More importantly, when Jackson retires, I think Springs can take over. Our running back averages were terrible, but we don't need backs. We need receivers receivers, and we got two really good ones in Holt and Newberry. The offensive line was solid this season. Scarlato led in tackles, Conway right behind him. Scarlato also led in sacks with 13. Both ends, Ford and Garner, had 9, while we had 3 players tied with 3 interceptions. The rookie Thomas earned Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's gonna be a stud. Lastly, for the 3rd time in the series, DC3 has earned Coach of the Year. Before we head to our 9th playoff appearance, 2 players will not be available. Blackman, which means Ham will get extended playing time, and of course Peterson will be out. We signed Herman in the offseason, but he'll be good to go even if he's a bit slower due to the injury. This might be the best this Houston team has ever been since their last playoff run, and they'll be taking on the Miami Dolphins once again. I don't think they've ever lost to them in the playoffs, and before last year's matchup, the two of them have been putting on banger after banger. Will this one be a banger? We start this one at the beginning of the 2nd quarter. Houston's ball. Glover, the starting running back, taking over for Double J after his retirement. 1st down +5. At midfield, the following play, Jackson in the pocket left side and has Newberry wide open, inching closer to the red zone. They go to Glover on the counter, has the blocking and gets them inside the 20. It's now 3rd and 3, back to Glover, up the middle, and I don't think they're missing Double J. After a sack, they're at the 10. Jackson throws, hams, bobbles, but he holds on for the first touchdown in the game. Can Miami answer back? Ackerman in the pocket, going deep left side and caught by Hudson. There's 2 minutes left in the half. Ackerman moves to his right, throws back to his left, caught by Thomas. The following play, Ackerman in the pocket left side, in stride to Hudson for a touchdown. It's all tied up at 7. Miami's ball again. Ackerman finds Nielsen for 1st. They're now across midfield. Ackerman finds Nielsen in the flat, has a block down the sideline, has the 1st and gets inside the 30. At the 25, great protection all day to throw. This was a problem last year. Craig with the catch. They're just outside the 10. Ackerman in the pocket to the end zone. Touchdown Miami. They're now up 14-7. With only 36 seconds left, Houston's ball. Jackson trying to make something happen. Holt with a big play. Houston played it safe, running the clock down as much as they could and going for 3, making it 14-10. With 5 seconds left in the half, Houston kicking it off deep. This game is already looking like a banger, but will the second half be as exciting? He fumbles it. Houston recovers with 1 second on the clock. They'll send the kicker back out there to make it a 1-point game, 14-13. We're now in the 3rd quarter, Miami with a small lead, Allworth with a catch near the 1st. The following play, draw up the middle, Taylor has the 1st and has a receipt for Conway's career. On the new set of downs, Ackerman in the pocket with plenty of time, going deep down the middle. Taylor with the catch, breaks away from Conway, breaks away from Dixon, down at the 10. They're inching closer to the end zone. On 3rd down to the flat, has Fulcher tackled short. They'll bring out the kicker, making it a 17-13 game. It's the final quarter. Can Houston take the lead in the game on this drive? The lack of Double J isn't a problem when you have a back who fits the scheme like a Glover. On the new set of downs, Jackson in the pocket, going deep left side, Holt with a catch. The following play, Jackson hands it off to Glover, finds a hole for a gain of 6. Next play, back to Glover, counter left side, has the blocking, and he's doing Double J proud right now. Just outside the red zone, Jackson throws back to his right and just misses Holt for a touchdown. It's now 3rd down, just over 2 minutes in the game. Jackson down the middle to the end zone, Alderman with the catch. Houston is back on top, 20-17. Banger after banger. Can Miami bang back? Ackerman throws right side. She gets around the defender. It's a foot race. Herman makes the diving tackle. They're creeping into field goal range. Over a minute still left in the game. Down the middle, and it's called pass interference on the defense. There's still a minute left in the game. Ackerman in the pocket throws, has Nayland, swerves around the injured Herman for the lead. Banger after banger after banger. Now it's Houston's chance to bang again. Jackson in the pocket with all day, gets rid of it deep. Alderman can't hold on to it. It's now 3rd down, 10 to go. Jackson in the pocket, throws. Alderman holds on to it this time. There's still plenty of time to score, no need to panic. Jackson checks it down to Glover, who fumbles it, recovered by Miami. It would go under review. How poetic would it be for Houston to lose because they forgot to beef up one of their weakest positions? And that's exactly why they would lose this game. What's worse, Glover was having a solid game before the fumble. Sometimes the game comes down to one mistake. Unfortunately, Glover made the mistake. 6 seasons left and no retirements. There was a former player, Johnny Berry, retiring with the Ravens. We have a busy offseason this year. John Jackson regressing, still pretty good, he'll be back. Steve Holt, he's regressing, but he's still pretty good, he's coming back. Blackman is on the verge of regressing, but he's also coming back. Ron Winfield continues to regress, but still elite, he's coming back. Mark Crawford, backup tight end, will be taking over Winfield eventually, he'll be back. Ivan Holt, starting left tackle, elite, he's coming back. Natrone Ballard, starting right tackle, elite, he's coming back. Bruce Gardner's regression has begun, still very good, he'll be back. DYN, defensive tackle, young and elite, he's definitely coming back. Craig Scarlato, he's regressed so slowly that he's coming back again. Byron Lake at cornerback, he's regressing, he'll be back. Lastly, Ronnie Heward, he'll be back and starting this year. Names not returning, Jose Blades, he was the odd man out at tight end. Anthony Springs, I wanted to bring him back, but I'm letting him walk. Randall Owens, backup right guard, he gone. Jeff Alderman dropped that big pass in the playoffs, he gone. Paul Urban Commando, regressing, he gone. Glenn Dixon has regressed past Heward, he gone. James Stewart, not the player he used to be, he gone. Clay Herman was torched in the playoffs, he gone. Get out of here. Last player, Ben Edwards, how has Scarlato managed to stay so good? Keeping with the theme of spending all our cap space, gave an offer to cornerback Terrell Agnew, also gave an offer to an aged veteran running back Will Lewis. Final offer was to Robbie Weaver at left outside linebacker. They all accepted their offers. Going to the draft, we had the 28th pick. The best running back fell to us. After how last season ended, we're taking him. Don't pay attention to the rest of the draft. I was getting depth, I swear. John Jackson will be here for 2 more seasons, but Van is looking to take over. Lewis is here for 1 year, but Bates getting ready to build a motel. Newberry, Holt, and Blackman are all over 30. This could be their final run. Winfield too, with only 6 seasons. How many of the starters on the offensive line will be here when it's all said and done? I know for sure the defensive ends for this team won't be here. Regression came for Gardner, it's coming for Ford soon. The linebackers are now led by Peterson, the guy we took over a quarterback 7 seasons ago. Totally not regretting it. Thomas is going to be a stud at corner. Heward starting at free safety after 4 seasons sitting, while Conway is the sole elite player in the secondary. Let's simulate the season. We've clinched our 9th division title. We had our best record ever, started the season 13-0, but didn't earn the number 1 seed thanks to their loss to the Baltimore Ravens. The offense continues to do well, but boy did changing the scheme make our defense legit. Jackson continues his impressive career here in Houston. Lindsey also continues his successful career in Cleveland. Will Lewis turned out to be a great signing for us this season. While Newberry and Holt continues their dominance as a duo, the offensive line was decent, but Stuckey is still sucky. Conway led the team with 94 tackles, Scarlato with another 10 sack season, while Thomas once again led with interceptions, 5 this year. The Texans will be facing someone new in the playoffs this year. They take on the Denver Broncos, but someone who isn't new is their quarterback Johnny Franklin. He was the guy that was available in the draft 7 years ago, but we went linebacker instead. Their backup, Anthony Springs. In worse news, Blackman had a career-ending injury. Can we get him another ring like we did with Falk? Let's be real, I don't think anyone loved him as much as Falk, but we'll try anyways. Let's go to the game. Denver's ball. Franklin going deep on 3rd and 5 and has Goulash for a big gain. The following play, Houston brings a blitz. Franklin gets it out to Hayes near the 1st. 3rd and 3, looking to extend the drive. Franklin going deep again. Goulash with a catch and fights his way in for a touchdown. How does Houston answer back? Play action, Jackson throws, Holt with a one-handed grab, and there he goes! They got pulled in on the fake, and on their very first play in the game, they go 80 yards to tie it up at 7. We skip to the final minute of the half, score still the same. Jackson finds Winfield to get to midfield. The following play, in the pocket, Jackson plenty of time, throws, Newberry coming back for the ball, and he splits the defender. There he goes! That's going to give Houston the lead, 14-7. The half isn't over yet. Franklin pumps, throws, right side, Smith with a catch, nobody tackled him, down the sideline. Finally brought down. A hold pushed the drive back, and they never recovered, forcing this long field goal just short. We now skip to the second half, Houston with a touchdown lead, Jackson with plenty of time, an entire week, throws, Holt with a diving catch. A few plays later, Jackson, great protection again, no one near him, throws down the middle, caught by Ham, +5 with a face mask. The following play, inside the red zone, Jackson throws, caught by Holt, breaks a tackle near the 5. First and goal, a touchdown can end it here. Will Lewis is tackled behind the line. Second and goal, a field goal can even end it here. Lewis, it's a fumble, recovered by Denver. Anyone else getting the fumble vibes from this? Franklin over the middle, caught by Newberry for a first. Later on the drive, 3rd and 3, Houston had a chance to draft Franklin. Instead, they took Peterson, who bats it away. It's now 4th down, play action, Franklin throws and caught for the first. Another 3rd down, 3 to go, Franklin to Coleman, runs over Conway. All they needed to do was not fumble it. Franklin to Smith, bobbled, and gets the first. They could have kneeled it 3 times and kicked a field goal. Instead, Franklin marches the team down to the 2 with that pass. Forget about the fumble. This has turned into the drive. Touchdown, Denver. It's all tied up. That means we're going into overtime. Last year, Houston was eliminated because of a fumble. This year, Jackson is doing his best to make sure that doesn't happen again. They even signed Lewis to make sure that didn't happen again. They don't trust him here with their fullback Hughes on the carry for a gain of 8. Will Lewis takes the pitch and he tries to make up for the fumble, getting the first close to the red zone. They decide that's good enough. This to advance to their 6th AFC Championship game. Houston survives a blunder. They will be moving on and attempting to go to their 4th Super Bowl in 14 years. Don't think too far ahead yet. They got lucky this week not to throw it away. Will they be able to hold it together? They'll be in the freezing cold here in Baltimore, taking on the 14-1-1 Ravens. They lost to them towards the end of the season. That would determine who hosted this game. Interestingly, the coach for the Ravens, Marty Schottenheimer. We start this one at the beginning of the second quarter. Houston's ball. Jackson finds Holt for the first. The following play, Jackson throws quickly to Lewis, who makes the catch and still has speed for an old man near midfield. A few plays later, they go to Hughes, left side, and gets a 2-for-1 block from Newberry. Has the first, stumbles, loses the ball, but goes out of bounds. New set of downs, play action, going deep. Jackson left side, triple coverage, and makes the catch. Based on that last play alone, I think we know what kind of game this is going to be. Touchdown, Houston. Could be a long day for Baltimore. It's the final 2 minutes of the first, still up 7-0. Hughes with a catch to get near the first. The following play, Jackson in the pocket throws, and Lewis stretching out for the one-handed grab, the first, and a whole lot more. Lewis trying to redeem himself after that fumble that almost cost them the game last week, and look at him go. They're not going to get him. Houston up 14-0. Halfway through the third, score still the same. Jackson going deep left side, Newberry with the catch inside the red zone. A play later, Jackson drops back, good protection, throws across his body, Winfield with the catch inside the 5. It's now 3rd and goal. They give it to Lewis, and he's making up for last week. 21-0 Houston. We're now at the start of the 4th. Houston still with a 21-0 lead. Jackson finds Holt near the 1st. The following play, they hand it to Lewis up the middle to extend the drive. At midfield, with 3 minutes, up by 3 touchdowns, game's mostly over. Winfield with the jumping catch. He got behind the defense, but he won't get into the end zone. They were mostly milking the clock, adding these 3 points to their lead. That's how this game would end, 24-0 Houston. Once again, Schottenheimer puts together one of the best teams in the NFL for it to end short of the Super Bowl. For the 4th time in Texans franchise history, they'll be in the Super Bowl. They won their last 2 appearances against the 49ers in Minnesota. Each win has come with a different starting quarterback, and they earn a 3rd Lombardi with a 3rd different quarterback against Washington. We'll start this one halfway through the first. Jackson throws left side and it's picked off. And will they get him before he scores? Nope. Washington up 7-0. Will Jackson be seeing ghosts at the biggest game of the year? Throws left side to Newberry and look at him go! He's trying to outrun the secondary. Does he have the speed? And brought down by his shoestrings. Houston traded a first, Lindsey, 2 seconds, and Roberts for Jackson and Newberry. Today, they gave them their first touchdown. All tied up at 7. Washington's offense hasn't done much yet. Pitch to Jammer, breaks the tackle and brought down at the sticks. The following play action, pocket collapsing to the right side, Shields with the first. Now in the second quarter, 3rd down, they need 6, going deep, and they get a whole lot more, tackled at the 23. Just outside the red zone, they give it to Jammer, inside the 20, breaks a tackle and brought down at the 15. It's now 3rd down, pitch right side, Peterson trying to get him, Conway makes the tackle, but they're saying Jammer fumbled it out the end zone. That means Houston got the ball back and prevented a touchdown, but couldn't do anything with it, going 3 and out. Shields on the return, brings it past the 40, meets a gaggle of Houston players. He has blockers and finally brought down at the 37. With 2 minutes left in the half, Washington trying to reclaim the lead. Swanson to Shields for the first. It's now 3rd down. Swanson pressured by Scarlato, incomplete. That means they bring out the kicker to make it 10-7. Could be 17-7. With time still in the half, Houston takes a crack at taking the lead. Jackson down the middle, caught by Holt, down at midfield. 3rd down on the drive, Jackson throws right side, Ham with the first. Just under a minute and a half, Jackson right side, Holt with a catch, breaks a tackle inside the 15. The very next play, pressure coming off the edge, Jackson finds Newberry to make it 14-10 Houston. We're now in the 3rd quarter, Houston still with the lead, Holt with a catch in the first. The next play, Jackson in the pocket, moves, plenty of time, throws deep, caught by Winfield. Houston on a roll right now. Jackson, Holt with a catch behind his body for the first. 1st down inside the red zone. Jackson to the corner of the end zone and knocked away. It's now 2nd down. Jackson to the end zone again and knocked away. Do they go for the 1st down or the touchdown? Newberry short of the first. The field goal will make it a touchdown lead. Houston up 17-10. Still plenty of time for Washington to tie it up. Swanson finds Spence, diving catch for the first. The following play action, and Scarlato comes zooming in for the sack. It's now 3rd down on the drive. Swanson throws and it's picked off by Scarlato. He basically dominated this drive. A touchdown or even a field goal can end it here. Jackson deep right side, caught by Holt, tackled at the 10. If Washington can't force a turnover, it could be over here. And the interception is dropped by Kirby. It's now 3rd down. Jackson, Holt, peach of cake. Houston up 24-10. Had Washington not fumbled out the end zone, this could be a very different game. Interception dropped by Thomas, who was hurt earlier. 4th down. If they don't get it here, it's over. Sacked. Doesn't matter who got it. Turnover on downs. Ford with the strip sack. Lewis with the carry. Makes a move to get near the sticks. There's only 2 minutes left. All they're doing now is running the clock to get the first on the ground. They're inside the red zone. They give it to Lewis again. Takes it outside. Tackled near the 10. 3rd down. They only need 1 to go. They don't give it up. That'll lead to a field goal to make it 27-10 Houston. You have to consider giving the MVP to Conway. Gets the interception to seal it. For the 3rd time in 13 years, the Houston Texans are Super Bowl champions. For the first time since year 18, they get to hoist the Lombardi once again. If DC3 wasn't a Hall of Fame coach before, he is now. Only needs 7 more wins to get to 200. 3 big retirements. Blackman with a career ender. Scarlato, who's been way better than I expected. While Lewis was a stopgap player, big holes to fill this offseason. Glenn Dixon retired a year after we let him go. The team is getting older since I'm no longer building for the future, but Steve Holt is coming back. Rock Winfield will be back on a 1-year deal. Kevin Green, he's 24, 99 club, definitely coming back. Natrone Ballard, holdout, he got a new contract. Bruce Gardner, defensive end, regressing, 1-year deal. David Peterson is finishing the franchise with us. Kyle Manuel will be back, players not returning. Sean Johnston, 4th receiver, he gone. Gabe Freeman, backup guard, he gone. Sean Johnson, cornerback, aging, he gone. Byron Lake, cornerback, also aging, he gone. Robbie Weaver, regressed hard, he gone. We need 2 outside linebackers, and free agency is the place to do it. I gave an offer to Juan Spriggs, he accepted. We have the 32nd pick in the draft, and this class looks loaded. We needed another outside linebacker, but I wanted a cornerback to pair with Thomas, though the best player available was a defensive end, and we need someone to replace Gardner eventually. Turned out, this draft wasn't as loaded as I thought, but overall I'm happy with it. I also brought back Sean Johnson at corner. This might be the final few seasons for Jackson. He's 34, 36 is where most quarterbacks retire. We're going to get a chance to see Bates as the starter this season. Holt is now the number 3, Ham and Newberry as the boundaries, Winfield and Crawford will be the tight ends. The offensive line is all but 1 player away from being all elite. Let's see if they all stick around to the end. Ford, elite at defensive end. The rookie Henderson will be starting while the interior is led by Devine. Spriggs, a veteran at left outside linebacker. Peterson leads the group, and the rookie Spriggs at right outside linebacker. Thomas leads the corners group. Agnew right behind him. Johnson the nickel. Heward creeping into elite territory at free safety. Conway, 99 club, strong safety. Let's simulate the season. We earned our 10th division title, finished 2nd in the AFC. Our offense continues to be elite, but the defense is slowing down. Jackson putting up fantastic numbers in his twilight years, earned AFC MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and Best Quarterback. Heath Lindsay ended up missing most of his season. Interestingly, he's rated the same as Jackson. The Bates Motel will be shut down for the playoffs. Newberry continues to put up great numbers, earning himself Best Wide Receiver. Stuckey, a little less sucky, was a pancake machine. Spriggs, the veteran, led in tackles. Shane Ford led in sacks. Agnew led in interceptions with 5. Thomas Johnson had 4. I mentioned that Tavion Bates will miss the playoffs, but so will starting free safety Ronnie Heward. They'll also be without Jeremy Mack for this week, which will be against the Miami Dolphins. I'm beginning to think there's a rivalry between these 2 teams. This will be their 6th matchup against them. Houston lost their last and only loss against them because Glover fumbled it on their final drive. Today he gets a chance to redeem himself. We start halfway through the first. Houston with the ball, and Glover shows he's not the same guy the last time they played. A play later, play action. Jackson throws right side. Newberry with the first. Now across midfield. Glover with a carry, spin move. Takes it outside. Look at him go. Tackled at the 28. Drive wouldn't go much further, forcing Houston to kick a 45-yarder for the first points. In the final 2 minutes of the half, Miami's ball, 3rd and 8. Ackerman finds Hudson for the first. The following play, pressure up the middle. Ackerman steps to the left, throws back to his right. Captain Flanagan with a catch inside the 20, the 10, and with that touchdown, Miami takes the lead. We're now in the 3rd, Miami up 7-3. Houston's ball, and on 3rd and 13, Newberry makes the catch and gets across midfield. Following the big play, Hughes picks up the blitz. Jackson throws. Glover makes the catch near the first. Only need 1 yard for the first. Jackson throws to Newberry for a new set of downs. The next play, they give it to Hughes. Everyone holds their block to let the big man roll, gaining the first on the carry. Near the 10, 3rd down. Jackson with plenty of time to the end zone, and it's picked off. Is that how their season will end? No. They'll get one last chance. Under 2 minutes in the game. Third down, Jackson going deep, caught by Ham. Just over a minute. Third down, they need 13. Jackson pumps 2 times, finds Hughes, he fumbles it. There's a dog pile, and it's recovered by Miami. That's how the game would end. It's one and done for Houston coming off their Super Bowl win, and it ends the same way it did last time these two teams met. Even with the one and done season, DC3 did get over 200 wins. No retirements going into our final 4 years. Paul Urban Commando is retiring with Seattle. I'm saying it now, this will be John Jackson's final contract with the team. Daryl Ham will be on the team for the final stretch. Newberry will be back on a 1-year deal. This will also be Steve Holt's final contract. T. Irvin will be here for the final stretch. Jamie Stuckey as well, maybe. Shane Ford will be back for 2 more seasons. Juan Spriggs will be back on his final contract with us. Jerry Bell will be here for the final stretch. Brent Thomas will also be here for the last few seasons. Terrell Agnew will be back for 1 more season. Patrick Conway, Mr. 99, will be back for the final run. Who won't be back? Third string quarterback Brandon Simon, he gone. Backup defensive tackle Brad Copeland, he gone. Brent Glover, that fumble really hurt us a few years ago, he gone. Another backup defensive tackle, Robert Howard, he gone. Sean Johnson, cornerback, he gone again. A third backup defensive tackle, Sean Hutchinson, he's 30, regressed, he gone. Bruce Garner, 32, regressed, he gone. Rock Winfield really thought he'd retire here, he gone. Back to our roster for another year. Moving the free agency, another splish splash, I gave an offer to elite corner PJ Jordan. I also gave an offer to right outside linebacker Randall Berry. Both accepted and both will be starters this year. Moving over to the draft, we'll be selecting 26 overall. One of the best outside linebackers was still around. I took him to be a starter for the final 3 years. Our first 3 rounds were solid selections, but how many will have an impact in the final stretch? The reason this is Jackson's final year is because Van isn't too far off from him. Hopefully Bates can stay healthy this season. This is the final year. Ham, Newberry, and Holt will all be together. The offensive line is still mostly elite, but it's annoying that Stuckey is weighing us down. Ford is beginning to regress. The rookie is showing up and the interior defensive line is still strong. Our starting outside linebackers will be gone after this season while Peterson continues to be the leader. Thomas and Jordan should be a dominant duo this season. Heward is elite at free safety. Conway finishing the all-elite secondary. Let's simulate the season. We finished the year 8-8 and just missed the playoffs. Had a collapse at the end of the year going 1-5. The offense is slowing down and the defense is falling apart again. Jackson was injured in his final year. Remind you of anyone? Van, not looking good. Our running game sucks. Newberry is so darn good. Even at his age, offensive line was solid enough. Conway had over 100 tackles. Defensive tackles Anderson and Devine tied with sacks. PJ Jordan led with 7 interceptions, Thomas with 5. It's the end of an era. John Jackson has decided to retire, played 7 seasons, got Houston another Lombardi. Randall Berry only played 1 season, while Winfield also retired. Took over for Jeffries many moons ago. Final 3 seasons, and Deshaun Hughes is going to be here for it. Vincent Newberry, 33, he's got 1 more year in him. Mark Crawford will be here for the final 3 seasons. Ivan Holt, 31, beginning to regress. We'll see if he makes it to the end. Ronnie Heward will also be here for the final 3 seasons. We're moving on from backup center Hank Raspy. Backup fullback Jim Jackson, he gone. Backup left tackle Sean Owens, he gone. Terrell Agnew has regressed too much, he gone. Juan Spriggs, he's regressed, he gone. Steve Holt, I really wanted him back. $35 million a year, he gone. Who are we going to sign in this year's free agency? I gave an offer to Adam Brown, the best player in the pool. I also gave an offer to Glenn Adams at cornerback. They both accepted, and they both will be starters this year. We'll have the 18th pick in the draft this season. We could use a defensive end, but it was too tempting to see two 81 overall players available. I caved and drafted a cornerback. Then in the second round, the best outside linebacker fell to us. I caved again. I didn't need any of those players, but screw it, it's the final seasons, baby. The plan was for Van to take over when Jackson retired, looking good so far. The running game hasn't been great, but they're improving. The receiving group has continued to regress, but Ham is elite. Looks like we'll be relying on Crawford more this year. The offensive line will begin to regress soon. Can they all make it 3 more years together? I should have drafted a defensive end in the first. Oh well, we'll just have to do what we can with what we got. No left outside linebacker. Peterson has regressed. Should have drafted a quarterback, but we're stacked on the right side. All our corners are in the 80s or above. That's neat. Heward has peaked at free safety. Conway, Mr. 99 at strong safety. Let's simulate the season. We went 9-7, losing the final 5 games of the year. Another late season collapse, but it didn't stop us from getting our 11th division title. The offense did struggle due to the running game, but the defense was a return to form. Van the Man was more than good enough this season. Bates once again has been injured and will miss the playoffs. Newberry may be 33, but his body don't quit. The offensive line was making pancakes all season. Conway led the defense in tackles. Jerry Bell, first-time starter at middle linebacker, led in sacks with free agent signing Brown. Thomas once again led in interceptions. I don't think Bates has ever played in a playoff game yet. We'll also be without fullback Hughes and probably the biggest name, Sucky Stucky. We've been out of the playoffs for a year, but we finally have a matchup that I was hoping was going to happen. Just took 27 years. We'll be taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. The second play of the game, Van throws left deep, Ham with a catch, defender misses the tackle, and look at him go inside the 20. Forget it. Touchdown Houston. Cincinnati with the ball now over his back foot, pumps, throws, and caught for a first on third. Another third down for the go. Play action. Clark Jones over the middle and takes it past the 40. A third down. Clark going deep right side, has his guy Jones for a score. There's been some tight coverage and throws today. Another one here for Houston. The following play, Van with time to throw down the middle. Newberry with a one-handed grab and takes it to the 40. Just outside field goal range, Van finds a wide open Francis to get them near the 20. They have yet to have a second down on the drive. Van moving around in the pocket. Crawford with a catch down at the 2. First down after first down after first down after touchdown. Houston up 14-7. Cincinnati's ball in the final 2 minutes of the half. Clark steps up on the throw deep right side. Jones with a catch. Another tight throw, but not tight enough. It's all tied up at 14. The half isn't over yet. Van finds Myers down the sideline and gets tackled at midfield. There's still 45 seconds left. Van has plenty of time in the pocket. Throws left side. Ham with a catch for a first. That's about as far as the drive would go. This field goal to give them the lead by 3. We're now in the second half. Cincinnati will have the ball. Clark with time down the middle. Copeland with a catch at midfield. The following play, Clark drops back, throws left side. Maynard with a catch brought down at the 22. A play later, they go to the ground. McGrady, spin move, takes the ball across the sticks. 1st and 10. Clark throws to the flat. McGrady racing down to the end zone, tackled by his face mask. The penalty puts the ball at the 1. Clark is sacked by DYN. 2nd and goal, they go to O'Neal up the middle. Lucky that wasn't another face mask. 3rd and goal, pitch right side. O'Neal doesn't have the blocking and his power isn't good enough to get him in. Houston forces them to tie the game up at 17 with this kick. We're now in the 4th. Cincinnati with the chance to take the lead. Finds Jones on the throw. 3rd and 3. Clark in the pocket. Throws and it's picked off by Brown, their off-season signing. Houston wouldn't do anything with it, but already in good position to add 3. They now have the lead 20-17. It's now the final 2 minutes. Keep in mind, Cincinnati has not held the lead at all in this game, but it can all change right here. Thomas with a diving tackle to save the lead. The next play from the 10, Clark steps to his right, pumps, throws to the end zone, and somehow gets that in for the lead. They're now up 24-20. There's still plenty of time. Van on third down moves to his right, throws, and incomplete. The game could come down to this. Over the middle, Mack with a catch to keep it going. A play later in the shotgun, Van throws deep, right side, Newberry can't keep his feet in bounds. Third down, they couldn't convert earlier. Van throws, caught by Robinson to keep the drive going. The following play, Van drops back, throws, Ham with a catch inside the red zone. Final 18 seconds of the game. Third down, Van short to Myers. They have no more timeouts. They can't clock it because it's fourth down. The clock is ticking. Tick, 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 tick. Where's the ball, ref? Hurry up and put the ball down. 3 seconds left. Van, clean pocket to the end zone. He has a guy and he overthrew him. That's how this one will end. Van will be sleeping down by the river. After this game, the pressure was too much for his first playoff. It was a heck of a game, but we're one and done. Again. I think regardless of how this upcoming season goes, DC3 will finish with the team at the end of the series. We had no retirements this year, but Steve Holt did finish his final year in KC. Tavion Bates will be our running back to finish the series. This will probably be the final year for Newberry. Stuckey is going to get a whole lot more sucky, but he's coming back. Shane Ford is returning as Dep. BJ Anderson is absolutely returning at defensive end. His buddy Devine will be back for one more year. David Peterson should have gone quarterback, but he's coming back as Dep. Finally, PJ Jordan will be back for one more year. There were no noticeable players leaving. The reason I've been on a spending spree is basically because the cap space has been broken for pretty much half the series. I gave an offer to 99 Coach at tight end. He signed. We'll also have the 22nd pick in the second to last draft. We needed defensive end and we got one in the first round. Let's be real here. We can't develop players anymore with only 2 years. These drafts are almost pointless, at least the second half of them. Van did not improve as much as I had hoped he would, but he did get better. Bates is also improving, but can he stay healthy? Ham is still elite, but the final year for Newberry, while Cox will be the third. We'll need tons of help from Coach. The line is once again all in the 90s and Stuckey Sucky weighing this team down. Ford will be the Dep and Henderson and Ricks as the starters. Anderson, Clement in the interior. No left outside linebacker, but middle will be Bell again, and we are stacked at right outside linebacker. Our corners aren't as stacked, but still pretty stacked. Heward has begun to regress. Conway still 99. Let's simulate the season. We finished 11-5, going 8-1 to finish the year, yet we didn't even make the wild card. Our 2 losses to the Colts cost us the division, so we'll be sitting at home while the 7-9 Dolphins play in the wild card. Tough conference this year. The offense was solid this season, but the defense took a slight slump. Ian Van is the future of this team. Is he Ed Falk? No. John Jackson? Nah, not even close. But like those two, he earned NFL MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and Best Quarterback. When Bates stays healthy, we don't make the playoffs. Newberry somehow gets the job done. He and Jackson were the best trades I ever made. How the heck did Kevin Green get selected to the Pro Bowl? Jerry Bell led in tackles. He also led in sacks again this year, while Thomas led in interceptions. This is the final year. It's been a long ride. This is gonna be a long video, isn't it? Before we start the new season, Broncos won the Super Bowl. Johnny Franklin, the guy who should have been a Texan, earned a ring. So did Anthony Springs. Moving to the offseason, Newberry has finally retired. He had a great career here. Heath Lindsay also retired with the Ravens of all teams. Juan Spriggs also retired, but with the Steelers, we have a lot of resignings this year. Money isn't a factor. Ian Van is coming back. Franklin Preston, tight end number 2, he's coming back. Luther Martin, backup left tackle, he's coming back. Hugh Irvin, starting left guard, he's coming back. Sucky Stucky, starting center, he's coming back, sure. Kevin Green, starting right guard, he's coming back. Natrone Ballard, starting right tackle, he's coming back. Mike Henderson, starting defensive end, he's coming back. Jerry Bell, starting middle linebacker, he's definitely coming back. Frank Spriggs, worst outside linebacker, sure, he's coming back. Glenn Adams, third string corner, he's coming back. PJ Jordan, fourth string cornerback, he's coming back. Bernie Foster, kicker, he's coming back. Dion Devine, now the third string defensive end, he gone. David Peterson, what a bad pick in hindsight, he gone. Shane Ford, defensive end, he's regressed so hard, he's gone. The final player, Will Francis, wide receiver, he gone. Time to splish splash. I gave offers to these 4 players: defensive end, middle linebacker, cornerback, and center. You never know when you'll need the depth. They all agreed to their offers. Since it's the final year, I'm trading away our draft picks. A second for Isaac Newberry, a 4th and a 5th. Hopefully he's as good as the last Newberry we traded for. I'm giving up 2 4ths, a 5th for Chicago's 3rd. Then I traded 2 3rds and a 5th for the Colts' 2nd, 6th, and 7th. Then I paired Ronnie Heward, our 1st and 2nd that we just got in the trade, to New England for Ruben Pauldings. Moving to the draft, we only kept the wide receiver. Van is trying to lead the team away from the river this year. Can Tavion Bates stay healthy for a playoff run? Hopefully Newberry can be like his brother. Ham is elite. We'll need to rely on Mr. 99 at tight end. The offensive line is regressing, which is why I signed that center in the offseason. Still very solid. Defensive line is as good as it's going to get without developing players through the draft. The linebackers are solid with a lot of depth. Same at cornerback, 1 elite player but good depth. Heward was regressing, hence the trade, while Conway will finish with 99. Let's simulate the season. We earned our 12th division title and the playoff runs through Houston. Imagine being 10-6 and missing the playoffs. Not us. Nope. Though we weren't the best team in the NFL, the offense continues its top passing attack. The pass defense was 3rd in the NFL. Van had another remarkable season. He's not Falk or Jackson, but he's definitely 3rd. He earned the NFL MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and Best Quarterback for the 2nd straight year. The running game is not good, but we're not exactly forcing it on the ground. Newberry picks up where Newberry left off, and Ham went ham, earned Best Wide Receiver. The offensive line was okay. Conway led in tackles, Schmidt led in sacks with Anderson, Reginald Hopkins led in interceptions. Before we head into our final playoff appearance, we have 2 players who will miss the divisional and conference championship if we make it that far. Ballard at right tackle and Bell at middle linebacker. It explains why Schmidt had so much usage this year. The game this week will be against the team that won the Super Bowl last season, but managed to sneak into the playoffs as an 8-8 team this year, the Denver Broncos. We already have history against them during our Super Bowl run back in year 24. Johnny Franklin, the guy we could have drafted, marched down the field to force it to overtime. This time we won't have Jackson at quarterback. Instead, it'll be Van the Man. Since our last Super Bowl, Houston has gone one and done in every playoff run. Van decides to take off with it. He's the most mobile quarterback we've ever had. Van has also never had a playoff win in his time here in Houston. Finds Cox for the first. It's now the start of the second, still scoreless. Van finds Bates to get into the red zone. A few plays later, it's 3rd down. They can still get the first, but Bates wants more. Houston up 7-0. In the final 2 minutes of the half, Denver with the ball. Franklin with plenty of time finds Phillips and he fumbles it. It's still on the ground, recovered by Houston. In great position to add more points before the half ends. Van throws, Newberry with the catch, got around the defender. Does that remind you of anyone? They're now up 14-0. Half isn't over yet. Franklin tipped. Thomas makes the interception inside the 10, and they're not going to get them. It was 7-0 at the 2-minute warning. Now they're down 21-0. Franklin over the middle. Ingram with the catch near midfield. It's now 3rd down. 22 seconds left. Franklin throws and misses. They're going to go for it on 4th down. I haven't seen this before. He's going to take off with it, and talk about the stoppable force meeting the immovable object. The stoppable force got injured on that one. This will be the final play of the half. Things have just gotten from bad to worse for Denver. Now abysmal Newberry. Houston's up 28-0. It's not over till it's over. Denver to start the second half. Franklin with all day to throw, going deep. Farmer comes down with it. Same drive, 3rd down. Franklin throws wide open. Avery with the catch inside the 10. 1st and goal. Franklin throws quickly, maybe a yard on the play. 2nd and goal. Franklin drops back, moves to his right, checks it down to get inside the 5. 3rd and goal. Franklin pitches right side and nothing. Penalty was a hold. They forced the Broncos to kick a field goal, making it 28-3. Can you believe that 21 of the Texans' 28 points came under the final 2 minutes of the first half? Can you also believe that they've never had a kick returned for a touchdown in 29 years? That might change here. Nobody tackled him there, and look at him go. Houston up 35-3. There's less than 2 minutes in the third. Franklin throws, caught by Coleman for the first. At this point, you would imagine the game is over. Franklin finds Van Diver and he says, "Not so fast, my friend." Gets tackled at the 20. The following play, they pick up the stunt. Franklin throws and caught near the sticks. This will be the final play of the third. Franklin to the end zone, wide open. It's not over yet. Fourth quarter, Denver's ball, only down by 25. He finds Farmer one-handed and gets them a big play. They'll come back due to a hold. Just when you think they can climb out of the hole, it just keeps getting bigger. This punt going to be fielded near their own 45, tackled immediately at the 48. First play for the offense, they hand it to Bates right side. Look at him go! Inside the 20, the 10. Welcome to the Bates Motel. They're now up 42-10. Game's over, right? Highest score they've ever put up. Broncos probably not coming back, but they'll try. First down here. The following play, Franklin moves to his right, buying time, gets some great blocks, finds Phillips down the sideline. No fumble this time. Just a minute left in the game. High snap, Franklin on the logo, throws, caught for the first. They might be able to get a touchdown before it's over, but it's not going to mean much. Diving catch near the sticks. It's now 3rd and 2. Franklin throws left side, incomplete. 4th down, game's already over, but they at least want some points. Tackled inside the 5. After the spike, 2nd down to the end zone, knocked away. 3rd down in the shotgun, defense stopped them once before, to the corner, incomplete. Can they stop them one more time? Franklin on the move. Touchdown, Denver. The Houston team did finish 14-2. The expectation was that they would take care of Denver, but I don't think anyone expected a blowout. They're now one game away from returning to the Super Bowl. If they make it that far, they're going to be completely healthy. They're back in the AFC Championship game for the 7th time in franchise history, and they'll be facing off against the Miami Dolphins for the 7th time in their playoff history. They've lost the last 2 games against them. Have the tides turned, or will Houston go to the Super Bowl for the 5th time in this series? We start with Houston. A handoff to Bates up the middle, and there he goes. Can't bring him down by his shoes. Inside the 30, the 20, the 10, and the motel opens early. It's Miami's ensuing drive. 3rd down, Ackerman throws on the move, incomplete, but a pass interference on the defense will extend the drive. The very next play, Ackerman gets rid of it quickly. Hudson with a catch in stride inside the 30, the 20, the 10, and he ties it all up. When these two teams meet, it's always banger after banger. Throws right side, and Newberry somehow makes that catch. The following play, they hand it to Bates up the middle, and he powers through for a gain of 9. 2nd and 1, they go back to Bates right side, has the first, powers through another defender. They're now at the 35. Play action, sucking the defense in to get Cox open near the 1st. Closing in on the 2-minute warning. Van throws across his body. Touchdown, Houston. They're now up 14-7 a throw so nice we had to see it thrice. Ham with the catch. Dolphins would go 3 and out, giving Houston the ball again. Koch with the catch, avoids a tackle, make it 2, has the first, down at the 37. On the new set of downs, play action, Van running out of time, hit as he throws, it gets to Cox, and I don't think anyone is going to get him. It's now 21-7 Houston. There's still a minute left in the half. Miami with the ball. Ackerman finds Hudson for a first. A play later, they bring the blitz. Ackerman gets rid of it quickly. It's bobbled, but caught, brought down at the sticks. They're getting closer to field goal range. Ackerman finds Bronson, stays upright for a first. 30 seconds left in the half. Ackerman with great protection throws and caught by Bronson again inside the red zone. Time is ticking. A touchdown here could make it a game again. Ackerman to the sideline. Bronson with the catch, tries to get the first and goes out at the 5. Rather than risk no points, they'll kick a field goal to make it 21-10. We now start the third. Houston's ball. Van finds Koch for a first. The following play, Van drops back, moves, throws, Bates with a catch, has the first across midfield, avoids 2 defenders, brought down at the 29. Next play, Houston play action, Van throws, Koch, another first down. Now third down on the drive, they've eaten a lot of clock, they extended here, and that's as far as it would go, leaving 40 seconds in the quarter and a 2-touchdown lead. A touchdown for Miami could still make it a game. Ackerman finds Hudson down the middle in stride, breaks the tackle across midfield. It's now the start of the fourth quarter. Ackerman right side, Captain Flanagan with the catch. The following play, Ackerman in the pocket, deep right side, incomplete, but another pass interference on the defense. Moves them inside the 10. First and goal, they run it. Forever Young with the carry for 3. Second and goal, they run it again, this time stuffed by Anderson. Third and goal, they need a touchdown, they can't settle for a field goal. Ackerman feeling pressure and sacked. Fourth and goal now, Clement with the sack on the last play, and there he is again. Another sack to turn it over on downs. That was basically the game-ending drive. Miami never got close to scoring for the rest of the game. Houston is returning to the Super Bowl. We denied Miami from playing in their own stadium for the Super Bowl. Instead, it'll be Houston taking on the Chicago Bears, the same Bears that have Dom Capers as their head coach. The original Dom Capers. What a way to end the series in the Super Bowl for the 5th and final time against the first coach in Texans history. Let's finish this right. We start on the first drive, Houston's ball, 15 to go after a false start. Van throws, has Ham for the first and then some, tackled at the 32. A play later, second down, Van throws low, Ham reaches down and makes the catch. Just outside the red zone, it's a pitch right side and it looks like the Bates Motel opens early today. Houston up 7-0. This is the first time Bates has been a starter and healthy. Last time he was healthy in the playoffs, they beat Washington, fumbled, recovered by Chicago. The turnover would only lead to 3 points for the Bears. They're down 7-3. Houston's chance to add to their lead. Van throws right side, Newberry with the catch in the first. Next play, near midfield, they give it to Bates, takes it up the middle for 7. Second down, blitz up the middle, Van throws, Ham with the first. Same drive, third down, inside the 30. Van finds Koch for the first. Another third down on the drive, this time inside the 20. Van throws to the end zone and knocked away, incomplete. Now lead to Houston, making it a touchdown game again with this field goal. Before the half ends, Chicago has a chance to tie it up. Gregg throws, caught by Owens near midfield. After a penalty, it's 1st and 5. Gregg throws deep and caught by Spence. They're at the 25 now. Interior line crumbles. Gregg has Chevy to the levee for the first. Chicago inching closer to tying the game up before half. To the end zone, and it's picked off by Reginald Hopkins. I don't know who he was trying to throw to there. He might take this Reginald the way home. Breaks a tackle across midfield and tackled at the 44. That's how the half would end. We're now in the second half. Houston's ball. Van throws short to Ham for a gain of 8. They need 2 to get the first, 3 to get to midfield. Van finds Bates to get a little more than that, down at the 33. It's It's now second down. Van drops back, throws, has Coach tackled near the first. They do give it to him. Same drive, third down. Van pumps again, throws, has Newberry short of the first. That'll lead to Houston kicking another field goal to make it 13-3. Still plenty of time to add some points. Greg moving to his right has Owens open, gets them the first and a whole lot more, and a big hit. We're now at the start of the fourth. Same drive, third down, caught but tackled 2 yards short. They're going for it on fourth. Owens makes a move and gets across the line for a first. A play later, they bring the blitz. Greg throws off balance, caught for a gain of 5. Third down, Greg throws left side, caught by Stevens for a first. Another third down on the drive. Greg moves up, throws. Stevens can't make the play. Fourth down, a big decision, but they decide to make it a touchdown game again. Down 13-6 this drive to tie it. Greg to the sideline, a spectacular throw that would get him near midfield. Greg in the pocket to the sideline again, dropped in the bucket again. That'll get them near the red zone. Greg with plenty of time in the pocket, plenty of time in the game, going to the end zone, caught but out of bounds. 47 seconds left, no need to panic. Stevens can't bring that one in. Well, maybe they need to panic a little bit. Third down, Greg in the pocket, throws short for a yard. 4th and 9 for the Lombardi. Greg throws, tackled short of the first. That means for the 4th time in franchise history, the Houston Texans have won the Super Bowl in the final season. Couldn't have asked for a better ending. This took me longer than I thought it would, but I'm happy to have it done. Originally, I was going to end after the first Super Bowl win, but I figured we're almost halfway done. Why not do all 30 seasons? Turns out when you make the playoffs, it takes a lot longer to do them. Honestly, this has been a project I've been wanting to do since 2022. I originally recorded Madden 2003 and did a Texans franchise until they went to the Super Bowl, which was by year 12 or so. They lost to Chicago, funny enough. It's weird how things line up either way. I didn't know how to edit it since I recorded it all in one go instead of editing them after each season like in this video, which is why sometimes I go against my own words because I changed my mind in the moment. Anyways, that's it. That's the video. Let me know who you think should be in our Ring of Honor, who belongs in the Hall of Fame, and if I should do another one of these. Next video is probably going to also be a long one too.
Game time begins, take and tackle the challenge, crash, course, collision, head-to-head battle with 11 opposing components, battered up, adrenaline rush, ready to get on the line of scrimmage, you make the call. This is the game of football, EA Sports. It's in the game, doing it play by play, moving forward with the aim. First play, you may choose your star running back, second in yards, you try the same and get sacked. Oh, third down, what to do now? It seems you're only inches away from a touchdown. No matter what happens, the choice is on you. This is John Madden 2002. No matter what happens, the choice is on you. This is John Madden 2002.